Happy Friday, everybody. What is going on? It's your friend Malik here. And guys, it is the third day of stage 3 here at the Overwatch League. And I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty copacetic today. It's the weekend, and we have some good matches on the docket today. Later on, we have the LA Valiant going toe-to-toe with the Shanghai Dragons. And the Seoul Dynasty will be doing battle with the San Francisco Shock. But we're kicking off the day with a good one between the LA Gladiators and the Dallas Fuel. Now, the LA Gladiators suffered a tough loss at the hands of the San Francisco Shock earlier this week, so they're going to be looking to get their mojo back this game. And the Dallas Fuel, they're in fantastic position to go 2-0 to start the stage. And that might not seem like a lot to many people, but it's actually pivotal when you consider that they're trying to get themselves back into the playoff picture. And as we all know, every map matters. So Fuel and Gladiators fans, you guys ready to get this game started? Yeah? All right, well, let's go ahead and get right into the action.
Blizzard Arena, make some noise. It's Friday night and you're not working. Welcome back to the Overwatch League, everybody. I'm your host, Puckett, and we've got the desk with us today. It's Bren, it's Crumbs, and we've got some great matches on our hands once again, fellas. How you feeling coming into day 3 of stage 3?
Feeling fantastic, Puckett. Thank you very much for asking. I mean, we got some great teams playing today. Once again, we get to see where these rosters are shaking up again because, you know, we had a bit of a sneak peek on the first day, but now it's really settling it in and we're going to see what they can do.
Well, new stage means any team can realistically go for the top, especially early on, so shakeups are in order.
And speaking of shakeups, we got to take a look at the overall standings. Here's where we're at. We're past the 50% mark. We're in the second half of the season, and we got a bit of a shakeup between 4 and 7. A lot of movement after yesterday's matches.
Yeah, big movements, in fact. And realistically, this is where it matters most because we're getting towards the end now. It's getting ever so closer towards those finals, and realistically, every single team is battling out for those that 6th seed, so to speak.
And taking a look at the stage 3 standings, take a picture, guys, because I think it's the only time you'll see Seoul and London in the bottom half of the standings. They've been at the top every single stage so far, off to a slow start.
They really are, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to make it back to the top. These teams will easily bounce back after one loss.
And as we take a look at the matches we have for you today, Seoul trying to bounce back, but they're going up against a 1-0 Shock here in stage 3. We're going to see the Valiant versus the Dragons, but right now we open things up, make some noise. We got the Gladiators taking on the Dallas Fuel. And the Gladiators, they're coming into the match today with the higher seed, but you look at the match statistics, Dallas has beaten them in the first 2 meetings. And Dallas only has 6 match wins across the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that we've been underestimating Dallas a little bit. I think coming into this, I know me personally, I've been definitely underestimating Dallas coming into this, and they have been showing up. This is a team of veteran players, like we said, across the board. Like, these guys have a lot of experience. And moving forward, what we saw in that Shanghai Dragons game, very promising stuff, especially one man in particular I want to take a look at. Effect is the man, realistically. This guy is absolutely insane, dragging his team straight to the finish line almost with his performance on Tracer, on Widowmaker. All of these roles, he seemed like a man on a mission, realistically, in their game against Shanghai Dragons.
Let's be honest, guys. You upset Effect. And AKM, he was walking out backstage earlier, he said, predict against us again. We need Effect to be this angry.
That's honestly awesome because a lot of players try to find motivation in all sorts of things, right? Like a sad backstory, they want to be the very best, somebody pisses them off. Effect is the guy that just wants to prove that he's the very best, and when we're not agreeing with that, he will try to prove us wrong.
Just look at those numbers, 27 eliminations per 10 minutes. He was slaying anything that appeared on his screen. Look out for Effect today from the Dallas Fuel, but let's talk about the guys on the other side of the stage. Gladiators looked like they were a shoo-in for the stage 2 playoffs. They fell short, they slowed down at the end of stage 2, and now they're opening things up 0-1 after losing to the Shock earlier in the week.
Right, they ran into a San Francisco Shock that was very prepared for stage 3. They had a good read on the meta by playing Sombra. Dante, you know he has that pick up his sleeve. And the Gladiators even came out and said that they didn't understand the meta that well. They're a little bit behind, so got taken off guard. However, this is the team that will very easily run something that maybe they didn't even practice as they have done in the past. So they will adapt mid-game. It's just a matter of how good this Sombra is going to be, because Dallas has already played it to success against Shanghai.
Yeah, absolutely. AKM, I believe, is probably going to be playing this role for him, and I think that's going to be the key to victory, honestly, for Dallas Fuel here. I think if they shut down Fisher consistently, which is, that we know is a key cornerstone piece of the Gladiators squad, they shut him down with the Sombra, that's going to be, honestly, an easy opening for them to exploit.
You saw that strategy from Dante, constantly shut down Fissure, use those hacks, slow down the tanks, and it seemed to pay dividends for the Shock. Will the Gladiators be better prepared today? It's time to get the official predictions. Last time around, everybody went against Dallas. You chose Shanghai. You were terribly wrong. Bren, let's start with you today. Which direction are you going?
Yeah, I'm not going to be sleeping on these boys any longer. I'm going with Dallas Fuel for this one. Nice and easy, quickly. I mean, again, I feel like this is realistically going to be ending up that way. I know, against the home crowd once again, but whatever. I believe in the boys in blue.
I love that Bren's getting booed here in the Blizzard Arena. It's time for Crumbs. Where are you going?
I went with the Los Angeles Gladiators. Whether I'm picking the Gladiators because I think that they're a flexible team that will be easily able to adapt, or that the Dallas Fuel will simply use this as their own fire to become an even better team. No matter what, we're going to have a great game.
It's time to start off your Friday night. Make some noise. It's Dallas Fuel versus the Los Angeles Gladiators.
I love the aggressive play from the Fuel.
The Gladiators have crushed this first attack.
And Mickey just blows him up.
And Fissure, man, he's in your door and he doesn't want to sell you cookies. In effect, 3 kills. This guy is nutty.
Hometown squad, get your shields up and welcome to the stage, your Los Angeles Gladiators. All smiles coming out of the tunnel. It's Asher leading the charge, and the man that is going to have the most pressure on his shoulders today, Fissure, the tank that got dropped by the Spitfire, moved over to the Gladiators. He has been a massive acquisition, a big trade pickup here for our LA team.
Yeah, I mean, he transformed this team. They were in a bit of a slump. Him coming in really sort of revitalized them in a lot of ways. And now this is a team with great fundamentals. I mean, the basics are all there. They've got wonderful flexibility, like you mentioned earlier, Crumbs, as well. The fact that they can play all of these different compositions and they're not scared of running it. That's what I realistically like the most about this team, is the fact that you never really know what they're going to be running. It's quite unorthodox.
What I like about that is that I feel like this team's personalities translate into that creative play style. These guys even consider themselves somewhat of a troller when they go into the game, just trying to have some fun, mix and matching their hero compositions, and it's really entertaining to watch. You have these guys like Fissure, how he says that he's the very best, nobody's even more handsome than he is. So
he's a confident man. Should be, for the way he plays this game. That is a look at the starting 6 representing LA. But it's time to introduce their opponents from Texas. Let's hear it for the Dallas Fuel. Dallas entering the second half of the season with a 6-15 overall record. They're not out of the playoff run, but if they want to get to the playoffs at the end of stage 4, they got to start picking up wins. It's got to start today, Crumbs.
Exactly. Dallas right now, fresh start, halfway point, and they can make playoffs. However, if they want to make that miracle run, they need to start doing it ASAP. The longer it takes, the harder and more impossible it becomes.
Yeah, and I do personally believe, from my prediction, that this is a team that can do it today. I think this is probably the stepping stone now. This next match, they had a pretty consistently easy win here against the Shanghai Dragons, but Gladiators is another team where they are a strong team. They are tested. They've been through the trials, and now this is Dallas's time to shine and show what they can really do.
And I think a guy that really passed the test, you just saw Unko on this line. Remember, Costa now playing for the Valiant. A lot of love for Seagull, but keep your eyes on the Frenchman. Unko on that Zenyatta could be a key to their victory. We should mention OGE. He will be available for Dallas after this week. He could be eligible, but today we're seeing Mickey on that main tank, Seagull on the Diva.
Yeah, and alongside Unko, as you mentioned, the communication and shot calling for the team has improved massively. They're actually making a lot of plays together. They seem to be working in unison, and that's exactly what you wanted to see out of a team that individually is already at a good level.
The predictions are split here on the desk. I want to hear it in LA. Who are you cheering for? Is it the Dallas Fuel? How about the Gladiators? It's time to kick off match one of the day as we send it to our casters. It's Semler and Hex.
Thank you, Puckett. And really, Puckett, I think the real question you need to be asking in this fan audience is who's cheering for Siegel? Because I think he got the loudest cheer out of everybody there when he was up on the stage.
Hey, Dallas fans.
That's right.
Dallas fans travel really well. That's quite the feat to be able to drown out the Gladiators fans. I think this one's going to be really close. But my big question is did Dallas look good the other day because they were playing Shanghai, or is Dallas just good now?
Well, what we really need to be going, it's all nice to talk about analysis and everything, but what needed to happen, we needed to be focusing on effect in that walkout to see if he gave any high fives.
Yeah.
No high fives equals angry effect equals a lot of dead bodies.
Angry effect is frightening. That was a murder he put on the other day. It was absolutely crazy. The rest of Dallas is in here kind of goofing around, laughing. Mickey's juggling, but that's just Mickey. And effect is just putting his game face on. And
He doesn't even play Zenyatta.
This is a terrifying prospect. He does juggle people on his Winston on occasion. It's important. So we'll see. We're going to kick it off here on Volsky. This is one of the Gladiators' better maps. I believe they're rocking near an 80% win rate on here. And I think the Gladiators, they have this roster now with it where they've added Silk Thread, but it kind of shows their hand sometimes of what they want to run, because when Short 4 is in there, you have to expect some Sombra play.
Yeah, you're going to expect some Sombra play. We've seen some Widow play. We've seen a bit of, well, I mean, isn't that the strength? That's what you're always talking about, Hex, in terms of Surefour. It's just like he is the man of many masks.
He plays about everything, but then when you do take him out, it's like, oh, they're going to run Genji. You know, that's essentially, so they don't really hide any strats, but they execute very, very well. Now, of course, on Volskaya, it's Widow's playground. I mean, we should just say this for every map. So they're going to run a Widow and 5 other things, because Widow has been played so much lately, especially on this first point. Now, the big question here is, if that Widow doesn't work out, do you transition into something else? What do you transition? Now, AKM on the other side of things is going to be on the Widow early on. He's played a lot of 76 on this map, but I think Widow's a little stronger, and he will probably be the one to transition over to a Sombra if they have to.
He was the one, well, if you're going to play that Soldier, it can get a bit dicey versus the Widow, where you're not going to have that oomph, that one-shot kill potential the way that AKM does, unless you hit a god-tier Helix. We've seen those in the past, Hex, but yeah, going to the Widow, trying to win the Widow v Widow duel. I'm just a bit disappointed to see Shaz switch off to Doomfist. You know, Shaz, great, Zen, cool, but Doomfist, man, come on.
Well, offensively, it's a lot of this is just a dance to see who can get the first pick and then get the resurrections. Both teams are smartly running a Mercy here, so those first kills are going to be rezzed up very likely, and here we go out the gates running very similar compositions. In fact, mirror matchup.
Mirror matchup, straight up, mano a mano. Who is going to be hitting the shot? Surefour going for the bolt.
He shakes his head. He thought he should have had it.
Yeah, I think he should have had that one too, because that was the element of surprise all in his favor. Had a golden opportunity to start off strong there for his team. Unfortunately, he isn't able to deliver, but still, they are making progress onto the point. He's got information on where AKM is playing from as well.
Yeah, this is vintage Short 4. This is how he plays Widow. Oh, and that's how he goes down as Widow. He does die in a resurrectable position, though. But the Gladiators are very comfortable letting Short 4 be all on his own. He doesn't necessarily get the Mercy boost that a lot of other Widows do. Especially on a map like Route 66, he'll often be a mile away from the rest of the team. So they're just going to wait and regroup here. This is also a point a lot of teams do. They'll rotate around right side, look for a pick early, and then maybe even send the Tracer all the way right to disrupt the opposing Widow.
Big Goose, he's trying to keep on top of that Valk train right now. He's 77% and counting, doing a great job of building up towards that ultimate. So they're not going to waste time going for a res. We want to get those wings out and flowing for this next push that's going to be coming through here momentarily, as Big Goose, after all of his teammates soaking up the damage, he's got the Valk, goes for it as well to start this fight off. Nice shield there, cutting it up here for Surefour, not going to have that angle to get that pick on AKM until later, but AKM, he's got the wall hacks. There we go, Surefour finds Unko, but Unko did get the D-Mac, and AKM still here in the back line.
Yeah, this one ain't over yet. That was actually a great individual play by Siegel to step in front. When 3 went in, he cut off the remaining 3, forced the Widow and both supports to be out there. It leaves the tanks naked on their push there. However, they are getting some progress here. I'd be surprised if they don't come back in. Effect is in a position to blink at. Mickey's gonna take it to the point.
Yeah, Mickey just goes charging in. Pulse Bomb is there, does a little bit of clip damage, not gonna find the kill. But Mickey will be there to contest, and that's what's so important at this point. Shaz with the trance has been used, and Asher finally getting the drop on AKM, so the sniper duel no longer possible, but there is going to be the trance for Dallas Fuel on Unko, and they're gonna take the fight straight to him. Los Angeles Gladiators now on the back foot.
It would have been fine even if they lost this point, because they were forcing out ultimates from the Los Angeles Gladiators, and now ultimates of Dallas' owner coming in shows that they have confidence that this one is not over yet. They're going to pop the Valkyrie as well.
They're willing to just push this to the bloody limit. Siegel, he's got that healer in his pocket right now, doing a great job of just staying alive, but unfortunately, Harry Hook, the Valk is going to run out. He's going to have to come back down to earth, and Asher's on top of him, not going to let him survive for long.
AKM is back in here as Sombra, trying to get back into the fight as quickly as possible, but it's also good because it allows him to start charging his EMP. Should they lose this fight for second point, they will have that reset function, but still self-destruct on the point in most of The Fuel are getting back into position. Yeah, they're just waiting for Unko. This is a great hold.
What a play from Dallas Fuel. Teams would have rolled over, said, okay, whatever, we give up point A, we'll get over towards point B, take the fight there. Instead, Dallas Fuel never said die, they hung in there. There's only a minute left on the clock here for Los Angeles Gladiators.
It's about the coordination and having a plan. This is what makes teams like NYXL so good. It's like, oh, we need someone to stall. So this is who goes in first. This is who comes in second. We're going to try this and then that. And they executed it magnificently.
So, AKM looking for that hack B shoe, not long for this world, unfortunately for Divas. It's not a fun time. Asher ready. Gets the spot on that translocate. We will get the stick from Effect. Does he get the kill? Yes, Fisher out of the fight.
He's so low, though, and they're going to have to pop a Valkyrie. Eventually, Los Angeles will crack this. They have to throw all the ults that they have at it because why not? You need it. They will get 4.5 minutes going into second point, and this is the switch-up that you often see out of the Gladiators. Shore 4 goes over to that McCree. Now, why McCree's so good on this last point as opposed to maybe an Anubis is that the fighting is not all just always on the point. You can play a little further back. He's got more room to play around rather than the small fighting zone of an Anubis.
Really liking this aggression out of Dallas, though. They are refusing to let Gladiators set the pace. Shaz with this trance already forced. We will have Mickey leaping back to safety, just barely makes it out. He will survive, and so Dallas Fuel right now, they're controlling the tempo, not really allowing Los Angeles Gladiators to hit their stride.
Yeah, the Gladiators do come in, though. They wanted to press the issue because they only lost one during that EMP, and they know, even though EMP has been changed a little bit, it still charges so quickly. Already at 60% for AKM, and a smart team will punish this kind of lazy retreat there, get a couple of late kills.
Oh, Bishu is going to go ahead and take a dive
That
real
is
quick.
a horrifying scream. Baby Diva suicide scream is the worst.
Yeah, except that Diva is just so perpetually annoying. All of her voice lines are so annoying that I'm actually pretty happy to hear her when she goes off the side of the clips. Like, oh yeah, okay, good, peace for a little bit.
I want to disagree with you, but I simply can't find it in me. They're going to have to play into an EMP again, and this is the problem of running into a Sombra, even this Sombra. There's so much damage in. Shore 4 gets the kill early on, though. Effect should be back quickly enough. That's why Asher's going to the back line here.
Yeah, he's looking for Unko, and he finds him. Unko forced off the high ground. We will have that EMP in play now. AKM looking for the silence. Will get clipped in the end, however, but he did get a kill on Shaz, and the big goose goes down as well. Roasted. Los Angeles Gladiators without a back line and no Valkyrie either.
It's just Asher, though. He's in a 1v3 right now. The rest of his team is busy elsewhere. Deadeye's going to come in and zone them out, gives Asher some space that he needs on the point. Does catch a back to chases in.
Asher, man, he just chases him out into the open. Mickey, however, going to go ahead, be that solo body on the point. He's got both healers there to bring him back up as well. You got to give it to Dallas Fuel. They played those angles very carefully, not over committing to the point.
Yeah, Shore 4 did get himself in a little awkward position there. You would love to keep your second DPS up in that situation, but it forces a reset here from the Gladiators. They have both support ultimates up. I think they would love to get Unko's Transcendence out before they use them, but you can have dueling Transcends and then come in over the top with your own Valkyrie. They have to know they have the advantage on that ultimate at least.
You can see the tanks right now for Dallas Fuel. They're willing to take that chip damage. Whatever you can do to get Harry Hook on top of it with that Valk, all the faster is the better. In fact, from his perspective, things aren't going too poorly here. He's able to just farm up as quickly as possible. That pulse he's just used is Unko will find the pick on Asher, though. A lot of DPS dead now for Los Angeles Gladiators, and the fight continues as the tanks are getting into it now as well.
This is a much better Transcend. That's what the benefit of having two support ultimates. You use one to get in and one to fight on the point and try to close out. The Gladiators continue to push. Harry Hook and Unko falling means that this might just be it. Some stall comes in from AKM and Effect falls, though.
Effect falls, AKM out of it. Seagull is there to take it up. However, he's doing the dance on the point. Not going to survive for too long. We even have Mickey on the Maeve, although he gets clipped immediately. And are they going to be able to make it back? No, not in time. Dallas Fuel will get overwhelmed in the end. Minute 23 on the clock for Gladiators in the bank.
This short force McCree just turns up there at the end, and we talk so much about closeout heroes in these assault situations, and oftentimes we reference a Genji because Blade's a closeout ultimate, Reaper can close out a point, but McCree's just as good. When you have numbers around McCree and he gets those situations where it's a 5v2 and you only have a single target, best dueler in the game going to close out. And also there towards the end, both supports are trying to come in, just a little flashbang, a little flash in the face, and they can't even touch the point.
Yes, perhaps a fan as well.
Don't trigger me this early. We're just getting back after like 2 weeks off of casting. Don't you bring up Flash and fan to me. I was in a good mood, Semler.
Exactly, Hex. I need to just bring you back down a little bit, you know, get you regulated again.
There's a reason I didn't play free for all the day.
It's fine. I know, because your keyboard is still in one piece. It's great. Dude, it's really annoying having to pick up those keys in the office all the time. All right, as far as Dallas Fuel are feeling, they should be feeling pretty good about the situation right now. Seagull himself on the Diva doing work. But more importantly, I like that the Dallas Fuel were trying to take the fight to Gladiators, not really letting Gladiators set the pace. Instead, it was the Dallas Fuel who were just going in, charging, trying to destabilize things. It wasn't until the very end where the Gladiators were starting to get that momentum going their way where things turned against Dallas. So I want to see more out of that from Dallas. I want to see more of that aggression.
Yeah, it does look like the communication was really on point there. I was so impressed with their stagger when it looked like it was over on first point to have a Primal Rage come in and know that, like, well, this is going to get blown up, but then we're going to have this. And it was very indicative of how the top teams play their stall out, where we're going to give up a resource, which is going to be ticks on the point, so that we can stay alive and execute our game plan, able to pull it off right until the very end. And this is a map, like I said, that Gladiators are very, very good at.
Yeah, they are definitely comfortable. And in terms of the attack now, it is going to be let's see, the onus on Dallas Fuel. We've gotten to check it out. Again, just the same kind of setup here. No Sombra on the first point for defense for Gladiators. It will be the Widow v Widow duel yet again, and so we'll have to see our Dallas Fuel going to be a bit more competent than the Gladiators were on their initial side.
There were a few times where they tried to run Rascalin on McCree over on this point, so we'll see how the setup goes otherwise. This looks standard. This is how every team is playing it right now.
Yeah, going for the peek over on the left side. Take a go. AKM will be looking towards that back balcony. That was where Surefour was set up a moment ago. Surefour is still trying to play this angle, though. Taking peeks, trying to play it safe. AKM's got his bead, though. And Surefour going to have to back off. Already making progress on this point now, Dallas.
This is exactly what a lot of teams like to do. They like to put their tanks into pack room and then get your Widow onto the opposing high ground. Ooh, AKM with a 6 game sense just felt like something was wrong. He knew that their Tracer sneaking around behind him, able to get in a better position. Realize.
Still dies. Great coordination there between the Dallas Fuel tank, well, between the Gladiators, between Fisher and Asher working together there to eliminate AKM, and Asher on the cleanup now. We had a bit of a blurb there in the bottom right from Asher. He's definitely started strong here for the Gladiators.
Asher is somewhat overlooked. Just in a sea of great Tracers, we often overlook Asher, even Strikers sometimes as well, because we look at, like, say, Byobi, heroes of that caliber, but I mean, this guy crushes as well. It's going to be a great Tracer duel all day. Now the defense set up in a very good position for the Gladiators. They're going to have both support ultimates, but meanwhile, Surefour is in a little bit of a duel in the backlines with a Tracer. See who ends up coming out on that. Effect being very annoying.
Effect just trying to stay alive.
Oh!
It's looking like Effect wasn't aware that Surefour knew where he was. Surefour now gets the drop. Harry Hook. That's going to be so frustrating here for Dallas Fuel. Losing Harry Hook with the wings out. Valkyrie wasted, essentially.
Yeah, you can't have that happen. That is really, really painful. On the other side of things, though, they did end up burning out a Transcendence at least, so they're not going to be too far behind in the support ultimate game. It's just a matter of where can they find the pressure and where can they find the opening. And the Gladiators do such a good job. They're everywhere right now on the map. Asher often plays this flank on the right side. This is Surefour just waiting for it.
Yeah, sees him coming. There you go.
The pink mist from Surefour.
He didn't get robbed by a general.
They're going to come in. Valkyrie out.
And there it is. Trance has been forced. You can kill with the headshot through the Trance, but Effect is there to be the hero. The Surefour was definitely hoping not to run into. Big play there from Effect. Key kill going through. Fisher and Mickey having a bit of a tap dance.
Yeah, this is not all that bad because they were able to bring Shaz back, who would have been really slow to get back to the point, and they're really trying to help him out. He's getting juggled back in the corner right now. Fisher trying to get a lot of damage in, but they were able to get the resurrection and got a couple key kills of their own. Most notably, Bishu's self-destruct equalized things, took the mercy out of the fight.
Yeah, Fisher, how are we going to be able to clear that point? That's 2 ticks picked up now for Dallas Fuel with a minute left. Can they actually clinch it, though, end this fight here? Effect sees all those bodies in the back line, just goes for the hero pulse. Not going to find it, though. Unfortunately for him, he does survive it, so he can keep doing damage the hard way.
Ooh, Seagull plows through, takes down Big Goose. That is everyone going down in short order. And Dallas will take this first point. Now, the big question is, does Los Angeles make an enormous switch here? Because oftentimes they do something really wonky where Surefour will switch off. Shaz even goes to Genji sometimes on this last point, and they run a single healer with the Sombra. It seems like Shaz, being so close to his Transcend, is going to stay on Zenyatta for now.
Yeah, hold on to it. You can use the Trance and then swap later if you want. There's still plenty of time here to set up this defense properly, and the counter engage coming in here from Gladiators. The tanks once again just charging through. AKM though with a beautiful shot on Big Goose, takes him out, has a bunch of targets to pick from. He'll find Surefour as well. Eventually the plan comes together though. Fisher able to hunt him down, and Fisher actually doing the work right now, dropping both DPS for Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, such a good job there. Apparently, in Stage 3, it is Mercy season right now. These bird wings getting clipped left and right. AKM's going to switch over onto the McCree. Again, this is standard. A lot of teams on their offense will go to a McCree to close out fights, to initiate. Deadeye can be so good and get you a free tick on the point because he can't contest it. He's got full vision of that point. And now it's just a matter of who's going to have a better Valkyrie in this situation. Both Big Goose and Harry Hook have it ready.
Ready there to get the wings out and start support. Chain heals, everything. Effect taking a bit of a peek around here. Both of the support ults up though for Dallas Fuel. So now it's a matter of just getting into position here and forcing the fight that they were looking for. Wings are out for Big Goose, no hesitation there on his point. Effect, however, will just stay camping on this point, so they can't really leave it here, Gladiators. They gotta stay in this. Bishu will find Mickey, however, and it's looking like Effect, that's gonna be enough for them to decide to back off here for the Fuel.
Yeah, it's too bad losing Mickey there. Effect creates so much space. I don't think they're completely backed out of it just yet. Losing one is not a signal to retreat necessarily. It does seem like now they're getting jumped on and Fisher's gonna force the issue for him.
Yeah.
Primal Rage in the back line says, yeah, it's time to retreat, guys. Get out.
They're hanging around, exactly. They're hanging around, and Fisher, he's just tired of them. He's tired of looking at their faces. It's like, get out of here, or I'm gonna mash you.
Effect did a great job, though, of just being annoying on the point. It pulls them off the front door and gives AKM the space that he needs to try to get these shots in, but losing both supports, it is time to fully reset here. There's no way Dallas can go in, but they force out a Transcend. They get a kill onto the Mercy.
Yeah, once again, Big Goose getting caught that time, and that was a self-destruct from Seagull. They're gonna be happy about that. It's a fairly big one. They are decided to really take this fight in here, Dallas Fuel. Effect will find the kill on Bishu. Self-destruct or not, he will get the job done. Effect still hanging around here at the front door, waiting for Mickey to back him up. Mickey with the Primal as well, just gonna go leaping right into the middle of it. And Harry Hook working on that Valk, making progress, topping Mickey up.
This is what McCree dreams are made of, just tickling on the end there. Boom! Big Goose down, boiled.
What a sick shot. AKM now. Deadeye not gonna matter, deleted by Asher before he can pull the trigger. And well, it is gonna be Mickey leaping around on the point right now. He gets, well, that is definitely not what you wanna happen when you're primaled. You wanna be jumping, but the trance is there to save him. And Dallas Fuel continue the fight, nearly got this unlocked.
Trance and Valkyrie into this fight, they're all in, and Los Angeles needs a kill to try to bring this one back, but it is not going to happen. Dallas will complete the map, a difference of only 30 seconds between these two teams' time banks.
Hex, that's what you were saying at the beginning of this.
It's gonna be close.
It's gonna be close.
See, like, I just love that I can cast now to be on the analyst desk and like have a graphic made up of my choice. I'm like, nah, it's gonna be close. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
and then at the end of it, I'm just gonna be like, I told you, I was totally right.
Just gonna call you on it now. It's really gonna throw you under the bus. So Hex, who do you think is gonna take this one?
Hey, look, I will admit, I was falling victim to the Shanghai hype train the other day as well. I thought with their new supports and new players they had in, I thought it was a really good chance for Shanghai to get it together. But you know, it's gonna take them some cohesion, and Dallas shut me down. Dallas 4-0'd them, and you know, I think everyone picking Shanghai put them in a little angry mode, and we saw Effect just crush it.
Well, yeah, Effect he took it personal.
Yeah, I was doing prep for the game, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, should I just say Effect wins? Like, I mean, is that just the analysis of this Dallas Fuel game that Effect killed everything? And yeah, it was.
That's essentially it. Shanghai, man, they really, it was a lot of fun to watch, though, and it does give you hope going forward that they will be able to pick up that first W for themselves.
Yeah, they look better, but that's neither here nor there. They play, I think, second set today. Let's see a little more Shanghai as we go forward, but we've got another round of the Volskaya Industries between the Gladiators and Fuel. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of changes here. Widow is the name of the game. It's just a matter of where they get set up from. And you kind of want to surprise people. You don't want to be in the same spot every single time. That's why you see AKM over on this right side rather than back left, where he got plucked early on by Surefour. The first go about. See how it goes.
Yeah, no time wasted, and well, they really don't have a whole lot of time to work with here for the Gladiators, so they go leaping right into it. Bishu kind of taking a peek, waiting for the charge, and again, Surefour. Ooh. Fishing for it, but Unko will find the volley on Asher. I believe the res is getting off here. Big Goose, however, will be able to bring Asher back into this fight.
That's absolutely huge they were able to resurrect him, because oftentimes when Asher does die, it's over-aggressive, and then they just simply can't get in position to res him. But now onus on the Gladiators as they continue pushing. That bubble is going to provide Surefour Pete for free.
Yeah, and Mickey just going in. Will get forced off that high ground. Harry Hook, though, will be there to get him topped right back up again, however. Effect has hunted down Asher, has won the duel as well, forced the recall on Asher. So you can be happy about that. That'll slow Asher down just a little bit, but Asher right now, he's on a mission.
They're waiting for him. Yeah,
he's hunting, because look, Asher's in the back line hunting for AKM. Surefour's got the angle if AKM gets forced out into the open, and this could be the big first pick, although Asher decides to go for the low ground instead, and Fisher will be there to capitalize.
Oh, the choose your own adventure book that is the Gladiators attack, that was the right choice for sure. Had he gone up, he would have just disrupted the Widow. Instead, he gets kills. He sees the big juicy targets there, and they will grab first point with ease. Great play from Asher. Great decision making. It's not all mechanics for Tracer. Got to make the right call.
Yeah, definitely. We have seen this duo working together so far this map, Asher and Fisher just collapsing on targets. And it is what the best Winston Tracer combos are capable of. What they do, what they excel at is working together to just find those picks, flatten somebody, tase somebody, fill them with bullets, and then move on for the rest of the fight.
A little bit interesting, AKM has gone over to the Sombra. Very unlikely to get a EMP going here. A little surprised he didn't go to one of his comfort heroes like a Soldier 76 and can be good in this position.
Looking for it. Trance is all over the place, though. The duel and Zumyada's all over. But Big Goose has got the wings out. He will not succeed in keeping Bishu alive. Bishu has got the self-destruct. He decides to use it, though. He's not looking quite like it. Fisher chucked off the side.
And yet again, Effect filling up the kill feed by himself there. And Fuel will hold on second point without giving up any progress. But I think they still have a tough road ahead of them. Gladiators do excel on defense on this map. First point could be difficult for Fuel to gain.
Yeah, man in question right there on your screen, Fisher. Really leading the charge here for Gladiators in terms of main tank. He's the one who's setting it up. We were talking a lot about him and Asher working together, but Fisher is just so good at just saying, right now is the time when we just counter-engage and we set things up to slow Dallas Fuel down.
I mean, so many teams rely on their main tanks as the shot caller, as the initiation. Are we going in? Are we going out? And I love watching Fisher play because he's super aggressive. He always wants to fight. He's almost always in there, so you can kind of see that style of the Gladiators coming together. And I think he's given them more of a solid identity than perhaps they had in the first stages or so. Picking him up has really transformed this team into something special.
All right, so now, well, Dallas weren't exactly super quick on their point A take the last go around as well. They've got 2 minutes on the clock here to work with, so we'll see what they're capable of. It's looking like nobody is deciding to change up in terms of strategy. Really sticking to what they've practiced, most likely what they've scrimmed.
What I really like about the Gladiators' defense on this map and on several maps is that they have someone everywhere to make sure that they have all the information they need. You're going to have someone center, usually one of the tanks. This time it's Fisher. Diva's in the back with everybody else. She's actually scouting up front right now. That's Bishu. And Asher's always watching this right flank. Sometimes he'll take a Tracer duel. Depends on his confidence, but at least he knows where everyone else is. All entrances are covered for the Gladiators.
Surefour standing behind that bulletproof glass. Okay, fair enough. You're going to have to come out into the open eventually, but perhaps he's just trying to get a scope in on AKM before AKM can move in. And yep, sure enough. Perfect work. Asher with the punish. Harry Hook, is he going to get out? Yes. Barely survives through that res, but AKM gonna be happy he had a Mercy there in his back pocket, ready to bring him back to life.
Yeah, teams have done such a good job of resurrecting their own heroes with the tanks, but also camping other heroes that they've killed to prevent a resurrection. Getting aggressive now on the defense. They come in, Asher finds Unko, but Surefour falls in turn.
Yeah, there you go. You got Fisher calling that shot. Big Goose will succeed in getting the res off, and so Surefour back into this fight. They definitely need his damage at this point. Siegel kind of darting around, trying to look for a target right now. He will be backed up here. Harry Hook is there to get the heals on him. Mickey as well. Taking a fight elsewhere, but Siegel right now is just trying to get a toe onto this point.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, Asher has taken down Harry Hook. Effect will fall as well, and the Gladiators are holding strong. Time to full reset here.
He's still got 50 seconds. He's still got some time to work with. And, well, Siegel taking advantage of that. There it is again. Sweet music to my ears.
You're horrible. I don't even know what to call you right now.
Diva is such an annoying hero to play against.
I'm a little scared that you like these screams as much. I'm locked in a room with you right now.
See, there you go, Surefour. Just disgusted with it all. Only 30 seconds left.
Well, you have a Valkyrie for the side of the Gladiators, too. I'd imagine it's going to pop right away. There it is. Big Goose already preemptive pops it. Unko first to fall again.
Yeah, Fisher, man, he's just calling these shots. Get in there, flatten that Zenyatta as quick as possible. Effect will soon follow. Shaz with a headshot on him. And Fisher right now just running amok. But we've got Asher's perspective as he is just going on cleanup duty as well. And there isn't a whole lot here the Dallas Fuel can hope to do. Mickey crouching behind, ready to leap in, but he will get obliterated instantly, even with the Primal. He's got a Discord on him. He gets melted. And overtime ticking off. AKM just kind of bunny hopping his way in here, but he's not going to be quick enough.
Self-destruct for good measure. It was a close one, but the Gladiators have a plan for Volskaya. It's one of their better maps. They executed perfectly. I talked about their defensive setup, getting scouting information, but it's also how you use that information. Here they are. I found a weakness. This is our dive point, and clearly it's been Unko.
Yeah, Unko, well, this has been a game plan for a lot of these teams, right? Zenyatta, not really a whole lot of outs to work with, to dodge or evade damage, and so You get in there, you collapse on him with a Winston and a Tracer. We'll see if Dallas Fuel will be able to turn it around here after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
This is Zoe with a quick update as we were watching the game on Volskaya Industries. A lot of people watching have been wondering why was Rascal not in the starting lineup, so I went to follow up with the Dallas Fuel and they told me that Rascal is in fact currently still in Korea. I believe he's attending a wedding. Whatever he's doing over there, he's not here, and that means that Dallas Fuel have to make do without him for the rest of the games today. Let's see how those games will unfold. So without any further ado, we're heading over to Samler and Hex. I'm always so close to mix your names together and that will go horribly wrong.
What do you mean?
Why? Why would that go
What do you
wrong?
mean? So it's like Sexler. What were the other ones that we had?
She was trying not to say that.
Yeah, no.
You're the-
We could just say that. Whatever. It's fine.
Semhex was the one. I think that
Semhex.
Thorin said because we're explosive.
Oh my god.
I don't
that's
know.
Right.
People are
Thorin
trying.
has always got to go.
People
so
are
many.
trying way too hard, I think.
Shout out to Thorin. Yes, you may.
All
All
right.
right, we got one sub,
We do have a
guys.
sub.
We got one sub. It's gonna be Silk Thread moving in here for sure.
Recent acquisition, Silk Thread. He's got a very good tracer. That's how he came up in Overwatch, but he's also got a lot of good heroes. Mostly, I think they're bringing him in probably to play the Genji. He's a very good Genji player as well, projectile too. So we're going to Blizz World. First time we get to cast this map. It has been interesting to say the least.
Everybody is so hyped for Blizz World. It's almost as if they play Blizzard games.
Yeah, it's a new map on the screen. What was your first Blizzard game?
Diablo 2.
Okay.
So that was Diablo 2, and then WoW devoured my life. And then from there, you know,
I played
rest is history.
I played their Super Nintendo games. Rock and Roll Racing, Lost Vikings.
Okay.
Old school.
Let's go
I'm
with the OG
conservatively
plays.
105 years old. I only have to pay $5 for my movie tickets.
Does it scale really with age?
I eat dinner at 4:30 p.m.
I thought you were gonna say Denny's.
Well, of course at Denny's. Yeah,
senior
that's
discount.
a given. Hey, you know, don't knock
Hobble in on my walker.
Don't knock moons over my hammy. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, all I gotta say, Hex, is that I'm a big fan of all those, you know, Overwatch stickers you got on the walker. I know what you're trying to do there with the Mercy sticker. She's not gonna bring you back to life. This isn't a video game.
Yeah, one would hope. All right, so we are loading into Blizzard World. It gets dark as you go through. It gets narrower and narrower. Very Kings Row-esque.
Very much like life. just dark. All right, never mind. As life goes on.
No, but see, life actually ends, and Blizzard World oftentimes does not end. Blizzard World gets cut short halfway in between. Please don't make me carry on this analogy any longer. All right, so first it opens up a lot. You're going to see supports on the little high ground. Yesterday we saw a lot of really sneaky Tracer play, getting into the back line and just harassing Zenyatta's on the high ground. Jake did it a couple different times. See Genji's if you want to dive. We've seen Sombra all over the place. A McCree can be good on second. We've seen Junkrat. We're still trying to figure out Blizzard World.
Players are too. Players are too. You ask them, you know, hey, what was the plan there? They're like, we have no idea. And we don't think that our opponents had any idea either. So it all worked out in the end. Yep. Okay then. That's where we are on Blizzard World right now. Everybody's still trying to get their feet wet and trying to figure out what actually works. And so point A, bit of the hybrid, right? Bit of the hybrid. We will have that point A cap coming through here.
Okay.
And then we will have a payload making its merry way through the rest of the map.
I think this will be the entrance that we see find favor as Blizzard World gets played more often is bottom left. It seems to be the best entrance. Effect is going to shut it down right away, though. Takes down Asher. Silk Thread will fall. Silk Thread is on the Sombra. They're giving that one a shot because there's really no high ground to dive. Well, not where the defense is set up anyway. I was actually assuming that defense would set up on that initial high ground, but that's a weird one too because oftentimes you get pushed out of position by the roller coaster.
Well, there's like this really narrow choke there. We saw this, I think Florida Mayhem Tvik was trying to make it happen as well yesterday with the Sombra. It's just so frustrating to get in Viz because you got a D.Va, you got a Winston, everybody's just pumping rounds in there and you take damage, you're out of your cloak of invisibility if you're Sombra, if you're Silk Thread. So kind of tough there for him to get in unscathed.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit actually of Anubis that you have to just work so hard just to get in, just to be able to fight near the point. I mean, teams are not even getting close to it now. Asher is able to get to the backline, Unko out of this fight. The good thing is for the offense that defensive reinforcements take a bit to get here.
They do. Mickey decided to just take the fight right to him. Oh my God. Gets obliterated immediately. He jumps right into 5, and he has no support from the rest of his team. With no tanks in the fight here, things could get nasty. Seagull, however, is still around. He's trying to continue this fight at least for a little while longer, but he's going to get D-Max now by Asher, and that could be the opening here for Los Angeles Gladiators to get a very quick cap on point A.
Yeah, very well done there. They didn't have to use any ultimates either. They're banking up support ultimates. Look at this. It's going to be check marks across the board for this team as they continue to push forward. If they're able to hold, they force out Valkyrie, actually. Good job from AKM.
AKM gets caught immediately. Effect is trying to get in here, trying to stay alive a little while longer. Silk Thread doesn't even feel like he has to use the MP. They're going to be able to win this as they trickle in one after another. Dallas Fuel will not be able to really extend that fight. Not what we saw in Volskaya.
Yeah, it's decent to be able to get the Valkyrie out. I'm just not sure if that stall was worth it. But Dallas does seem to be playing much more aggressive on going into points, not giving up anything for free, and that's kind of what is a winning strategy in the Overwatch League.
So now it's all about patience as we wait for the payload.
So 20 seconds on this translocate, so plenty of time to work with Silk Thread.
He's kind of got eyes on him. He will get spotted though, and that's pretty much going to be it. The game's up. Back into it. Just rejoining his team. And well, you still got Asher doing work in the back line. Bishu, the tanks, working with their Tracer time and time again, and it will once again bear fruit.
This might be another very good Tracer map. We haven't seen enough yet. What map isn't a good Tracer map? She's got so many alleys and flanks here, right around the pylon terrace. This is generally where offenses go to die. We've seen the card stall out here several times over the last couple days.
Yeah, they're trying to find an angle here, one kind of pick, but AKF hanging around behind the Winston bubble. Forces them right back around the angle again. That card continuing to make progress. Silk Thread, he finds the target he's looking for. Unko gets the trance off the bait. Silk Thread doesn't even use the EMP.
Fooled you. Doesn't even have to do it. That's crazy. He's able to hold on to it. Now they're going to have it for the next fight. There it comes in.
Harry Hook was out of range, but Harry Hook might as well be in the middle of Siberia right now as far as he's concerned in this next fight. Gonna be a little bit of time before he gets in, and well, now Asher will find the kill on him as well. Los Angeles Gladiators making so much progress. 4 ults up as well. Fisher decides to go primal. AKM will get batted back. No escape.
Juggle in the corner. Good job banking ultimates, knowing that's where teams stall out. You have to conserve it all for this push right here to get to second point, and they will get that progress. Now it's time to go into the dark caves.
Sick work. Gladiators, they've really thought it out here. Dallas Fuel not quite able to go toe-to-toe with them. AKM has got the Deadeye. Quite a few ults actually in play here for Dallas Fuel, considering how quick those fights were. They didn't really get the chance to use them, it seems. Asher now just waiting patiently. Dallas Fuel, yeah, go ahead and engage. I've got a pulse bomb ready and waiting for you.
They're just going to give up the free push. They want to wait and fight around this choke in the corner, very likely does Dallas. He's got AKM in his sights, but that's not a 1v1 you ever want to take.
Oh,
Kobe.
Oh, that would have been so sick.
No, that's actual Kobe where it misses.
Hey. Dude, I get it. Asher, though, he doesn't. He is going to stay on top of it. He's going to stay on target. He's trying to back up Fisher, but unfortunately for him, Fisher gets wiped out. Bishu will trade it. Mickey is gone as well. Both Winston's dead. Self-destruct as well. Thrown into the mix, and Harry Hook, vulnerable. Asher spots him, but Siegel is there to watch his mercies back.
Asher's just been unkillable. He's blinking around everywhere. He's just been untouchable for this team. They're going to bang up, probably wait to see if Silkthread can get himself in a good position on the Somber. The EMP is there. There are some decent flanking routes here where he can just get super aggressive with the translocate. No need for it. Oh, they've got a plan. He's got his Tracer behind him, too.
Oh, this could get fun. Now it's a question of Mickey. What does Mickey turn around? There's the hack. No flashbang. Could move in here. There's the EMP. Harry Hook instantly silenced, but the trance is there. Unko plays the angle perfectly, hides himself away, will get his ult off, and now it's going to be very difficult here for Gladiators to capitalize.
That's a beautiful play from Unko. Had he not had that Transcend, it all goes wrong for them there. The Deadeye is going to come out. Effect is out of this fight as well, but AKM equalizes both tanks. There goes some of the other heroes as well, and this should be Dallas holding.
He's got no flashbang, unfortunately for him. Self-thread might be able to find a way out of here. Yep, there it is. That was sick from Unko. You're definitely thinking he is going to be vulnerable. He is the big target that they're going to be looking for with that EMP. Gets right around the corner just in the nick of time, though, and that made all the difference for Fuel.
What I love about Overwatch is people just making adjustments to things that they think are too powerful. EMP is too strong, and then we see the very best that Giannis can play around it. I mean, oh, it looks like Junkrat's tire is too strong, and yesterday we saw tires going down at a terrible rate. So just the adjustments people are making.
Constantly poking here, Gladiators, trying to find angles. There's Effect, Pulse stuck, Fisher gone, and Bishu wiped out as well so quickly. They're doing a fantastic job of setting up this defense now, Dallas. Really taking the fight here to Gladiators. Could be another stagger as well. Shaz trying to hang in there. He eventually dies to Siegel.
Well, he's got his support buddy in his pocket now, so they're just going to poke and get out. Yeah, Siegel did take him out late in that. And I think Dallas is doing a very good job prioritizing the tank front line, because this tank front line has been aggressive in the past. If you take down Fisher and Bishu, everyone else falls immediately after. And it's easy to say, but the execution of it has been fantastic. And there goes Fisher again.
Yeah, gets caught on that high ground. Doesn't look like his team were able to back him up sufficiently. Mickey got to be careful, though. A little bit dangerous there. Nearly overextends. Nearly cost him his life. Asher gets caught by Effect.
I mean, it's such an interesting way to deal with like a dive type composition, which the Gladiators generally like to run, is the tank dives in and then everyone dives that tank rather than going to the back line of the other team.
That's, I mean, when you get the Discord Orb, even if you're Winston, even if you're a big, beefy tank, you're gonna get melted quick if you're not careful. There we go, flashbang out, not gonna connect. Unfortunately, AKM gets flattened immediately. Then we will have the Pulse connect. Asher turning up a big play. Asher with the kill on Unko as well. This is at the moment that they've been waiting for the Gladiators. 45 seconds left, and here's a very solid win for them. Dallas Fuel getting wiped out.
Yeah, holding on to Blade here as well. They did make a switch. Big Goose has gone over to the Lucio. Perhaps they were hoping to get some more damage going and initiate with the Soundbarrier. Not going to need it, though. You will see this Blade coming in here towards the end trying to lock out doors.
But they didn't force Unko's trance. They didn't force Unko's trance, and so Silkthread not going to really get too much out of it. Has to reflex. No kills for him. Effects will find it. And Bishu with a big Hail Mary self-destruct chucked out in the open. Will not find a target by the looks of it. Siegel still hanging in there somehow on this point.
Oh, there's another self-destruct over top. Should close it out. Bishu out of mech gets deleted, and now it's desperation time as they will blink in. But it does seem like Dallas in a great position to stop them from completing Blizzard Worlds.
Yeah, Silkthread even going for the Soldier, just trying to run in here all the quicker. Not going to be good enough, though. And they are dead. Wiped out. Gladiators nearly pick up the third point on Blizzard World, though. And that is something to say, considering Well, the story we've seen so far on this map is that you get shut down before you can get the second point. Gladiators, they're already ahead in this game.
Yeah, very often that cart payload will stop at Pylon Terrace. Hard to say, though. I mean, Dallas's defense over the last month or so has never been their issue. I've always thought their defensive play has been better than their offensive play on most maps. So it's just a matter of, can they muster the offense to complete this, or will they go down 0-2 to the Gladiators early here?
In this series, that's where you're going to have pissed off effect. Only so much a single Tracer can do, though. Exactly. I mean, Shanghai, they're one thing. Gladiators right now showing that they are capable.
Yeah, Siegel's telling us he's got some fans out there.
There you go. I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, are you a fan of the Fuel? Are you a fan of Siegel?
He's like, there's this guy that every time I'm on screen just screams Siegel.
Yeah, he was telling us about that guy.
And I think we heard that guy.
Is he here today?
Yes, he's definitely
Waiting,
here.
I'm setting him up right here. Not gonna be the case, I guess not. Okay. Let's get into it. There we go, there we go. Countdown has begun.
That was half-hearted. All right.
Curious to see, though. Silk Thread will be on the Sombra to start, by the looks of it. As far as the offense is concerned, though, AKM going on McCree could be a bit fun to see here right out the gates. Although that would be a bit touch and go.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see Silk on the Sombra. That's generally Short 4's territory here. And also, you know, we saw that AKM is running the McCree to good effect, also one of Short 4's good heroes. So maybe they're just trying stuff up. Maybe Silk needs to diversify his bonds, diversify his heroes.
Yeah, right. But take a look at that portfolio. Make sure you're getting proper returns. We'll see if he gets his returns on his EMP. That's going to be the big thing here for Silk Thread. He is acting as a DPS. They could go for the flank, and I mean, if you're throwing in the D.Va, the Winston, the Tracer, and then the Sombra on top, stuff's going to die. Siegel might be hating life here in a moment because he is definitely going to be the primary hack target.
Yeah, just a walking trash can when that happens to you. They're going to try to rotate right here now. The offensive McCree is something that Houston has done with great effect. Linkser, of course, would be on that McCree for Houston. And this is where you want to get him set up on the right-hand side. Watch flanks with your D.Va and hope that you can get him someone peeking.
I like this from AKM at least. He's going to put some pressure on that back line. And whoa, just flipping out. A little high strung there. Worried that he was getting flanked by the Tracer or by the Sombra, by anything.
A little stressful.
It's all right. They're taking a very patient approach here, Dallas Fuel. Just the poke and prod. Harry Hook making progress on that Valk.
Well, the Gladiators are kind of giving them this patient push as well. I mean, the other side of things, they're being very aggressive and denying entry over top, but Mickey is the first to fall. Now is the time to go. AKM does not hit anything with that flashbang, and this is just the cleanup now. There's the hack on D.Va, and that is just a sad sight. Dallas Fuel's offense will be repelled.
It's a tough thing. It seems like at times they're still trying to work out that coordination where Mickey seems like, okay, time to get in there, time to take the fight, and then the rest of his team just aren't there to back him up.
Yeah.
And so he gets obliterated, and obviously Gladiators, with the main tank dead for Dallas Fuel, they're just going to go ahead and counter-engage.
Well, I mean, I think it was like Siegel said, like we played like idiots, but we played like idiots together. And I will always say that 6 people making the wrong decision is better than 4 people making the right one.
Fair, fair. Oh, there's the EMP, the Unco, Harry Hook dead, and Dallas Fuel going to get hard reset here. Silk Thread, that was perfection. Definitely got his return on that investment.
Beautiful play there. They're able to bank up ultimates as well, only using the one. That's so huge when you can just full-on win a team fight with one single ultimate. Oftentimes that's a pulse bomb or an EMP in that situation. Now Dallas has to decide if they're going to go in and piecemeal this without a Transcendence. They have to know they're behind in the economy right now.
Behind in the economy, they're behind on time as well. 2 minutes, burned off. No progress on the point yet either, so they need to win a fight, and they would need to win it hands down here. Asher hoping for a way out. He is playing the angles correctly. Hey, so far, there's the 6, sees his opportunity. Dumps Harry Hook.
So patient.
That was sick, and now Mickey once again finds himself all by his lonesome. Fisher will be relentless in his pursuit, hunts him down. Effect looking for the punish as well. Effect can't really hang around here too long without the backup from his healers.
I got a pack, he got a pack. Fisher may have bitten off a little more than he can chew, and he does, gets punished for it. We'll see if they can go in off of this. Like I said, that reinforcement too long, but with a baby bird about to die, they're gonna have to reset again, and now, just over a minute here. $1:15 on the clock for Dallas's offense.
Whole lot of ults to work with, though. But it will get balanced out in a moment. Silk Thread will have his EMP as well. He's been doing a fantastic job at connecting with that ult so far on this map, so Now it's about him exactly getting in here, going for the poke. Will eventually translocate out. Nearly has the EMP. Will have it for this next fight. So now it's on Dallas Fuel. Can they find the pick to start? Yes. Effect removes Asher immediately. That's big. Counter engage comes through. Fisher takes a bullet to the face. And AKM getting pocketed by his healers right now. Gonna make it difficult for Fisher to find the kill.
Yeah, luckily he got knocked back towards his healers there for a moment, kept it going. There's a false bomb. He's probably gonna demech the Diva there. Somber comes into the mix, takes a butt to the face. There's the Deadeye. Does not get the mercy he was looking for, though. That's the primary target of the Deadeye.
Yeah, he was definitely, but they are still finding these kills, and it's nothing like right now Los Angeles Gladiators, they aren't gonna have a whole lot to work with.
They're leaving.
They're leaving. Will they be able to make it back? No. Will not be able to make it back in time. They're just going for the hard reset.
They had Asher on the high ground hiding out. If they were looking for any sort of reset, he would have just dipped down and then recalled, but they just decided to pull a full-on retreat. They don't want to give up any ground that they don't have to. They would like to take this high ground appropriately occupied by a siege tank right now.
Exactly right.
Siege tanks on the high ground, OP, man.
You know the devs are thinking of that. Those little details, you know, that's where Blizzard excels. And you know, it's just one of the most frustrating things, and this happens to be one of the most frustrating points. And so it all makes sense.
It does make sense. I'm just kind of poking around. Seagull trying to find an angle here as they're just waiting for the progress to get there on the cart. We'll continue pushing. A lot of fights will happen below this pylon in the terrace. Seagull, I mean, just getting ignored right now, just farming, and now he sees his opportunity. Doesn't finish Big Goose, though.
No, the damage was done already. Unfortunately for him, in the meantime, while Seagull was dancing around on that high ground, you had, once again, Fisher deciding, right, time to take the fight to him. Fisher, Bishu, Asher, everybody moving in, eviscerating the back line for the Dallas Fuel, and now Effect, he gets silenced, but he's got his healers here. Instantly topped back up again.
Very nice play there. The hack is such a quick ability nowadays. No EMP available, but you see so many more hack targets than you used to. Now Dallas going to reset here. They have been backing ultimates, support ultimates especially. Let's see if Seagull can find an angle here. This seems like, since it's a new map, people might not know where the escapes are from some of the self-destructs. We saw a couple huge self-destructs yesterday on a cool map.
Yeah, it's not totally hardwired yet. Fisher, though, this time, once again, going straight in, AKM. No joy for him as he gets overwhelmed, and now Fisher going primal as well. Just gonna be surviving forever. In the meantime, the rest of his team doing work. Siltrek will find Mickey. And Effect trying to do the best that he can, but right now he might as well have pea shooters in his hands for all the effect he's having.
Yeah, I mean, they had just so much healing on the point with the Valkyrie. Both teams ended up using a support ult, but they chose different ones. Shaz is holding onto his Transcend. Dallas is gonna hold on to Valkyrie.
Well, last time we were in this situation, Dallas, when they had that ult advantage, they were able to make it work on point A. Silk Thread gets spotted out immediately by Effect. Perfectly done. No EMP. Effect right now single-handedly doing the work. He was there to collect the kill on Big Goose as well, but Shaz out of the picture really opens things up here for Dallas Fuel. Turns out you don't even really need the ultimates when you've got Effect on your side.
Well, AKM told the desk that they better pick against them so we get angry Effect out here, and I think we just saw him awaken. This is a brutal spot, though, because they have to win at least one fight as clean as possible to get around Pylon Terrace. This is where pushes have often come to die.
Exactly, and look, he's already hunting. He's going for the squishies right now. Will he be able to find him? Doesn't want to throw the EMP out there for nothing. And so we will actually have the fight getting taken to him yet again. AKM instantly smushed by Bishu, and Shaz is there as well. The EMP coming through, and the Gladiators looking prime right now to what?
Beautiful, beautiful. Seagull opens it up with a self-destruct, buys all the room that they need to be able to resurrect Mickey, so they're back into the fray. They've got 4 alive on the cart. A self-destruct is going to happen, get them scurrying around the corner, though. They live through it. Seagull loses his mech.
Seagull loses his mech. Bishu still arrived, but he is not going to be so for long, though. Gets demeched immediately, and this is it. Dallas Fuel off the back of a fantastic self-destruct from the man himself, Seagull, showing that he's still got a beak. He is going to be able to turn the tide, and Dallas Fuel right now, they will set themselves up to push forward and take this second point.
It's still contested right now, but they will take second point. An extension on their clock, 90 seconds left. Let me tell you how good that self-destruct was. There's so many people who forget the angles, and you come in over top or something along those lines to get more maximum value. He ski-balled it in there and hit a 50. That's to create the room on the ground that they needed to get the resurrection off. Brilliant 900 IQ play from Seagull.
And Hex, are you sure you're not nicknamed Crumbs? Because you were a prophet. You were a prophet in that second point. You know, players haven't quite figured out how to hide from the self-destructs. Yeah, Seagull puts it on demonstration there. Shows us exactly what he's capable of. Well, Effect still kind of dancing around. Payload making progress. They're kind of waiting for their opening here. Silk Thread will deliver a big one. Unko is gone. No trans possible, although the res goes off here. Harry Hook will bring him back to life, but they lose Effect in the meantime, and there will be no reviving him. Shaz will take down AKM. It will be Dallas once again rebuffed.
You got to get out as best as you can right now. The kill on Asher is actually very helpful. Maybe they can get AKM back in the mix, but I think the go button is AKM right now. They need to get in here with the EMP. It's their last push here. 90 or 30 seconds left. Do or die on Blizzard World.
Gotta be patient. He's waiting for his cloak to come back up again. AKM looking for his opening, and he is now cloaked. He's running into the back line. Will find the targets, but the trance comes out before he can get it off. AKM obliterated immediately, and while Siegel now kind of looking on from the sidelines, hoping, wishing that something can go right for Dallas Fuel, because right now it's definitely not happening.
Just a preemptive trance, knowing your timings right there, knowing the time position that it's going to be up now. You see the spawn location, you see him come up, you know that this is about the time he'd be there. Silk Thread, who I haven't seen play a ton of McCree, Johnny on the spot knows that that's where he would be as Sombra. So throws on the flashbang, eliminates him, and the Gladiators take a 2-0 lead over the Dallas Fuel.
It's as clean as it gets, Hanks. 2-0, very even matches, but still, it is going to be Dallas Fuel now wondering what they can do here to turn it around. We will have Los Angeles Gladiators taking the lead and well off the back of Silk Thread, off the back of the tanks as well. Fisher and Bishu once again delivering. We're going to take a break and we'll hear what the desk have to say about this match.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. We got a lot of happy purple fans here in the venue. The Gladiators enter the half up 2-0 over the Dallas Fuel.
Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena, everybody. We are currently in halftime of our first match of the day. We're bringing 3 of them here on your Friday, but this first one, it's a good one if you're an LA fan. Fantastic way to bounce back if you're the Gladiators, because remember, coming into this match, you've lost your last 2 meetings. Both times it was 3-1 in favor of the Dallas Fuel. Now it's the Gladiators on match point.
Yeah, Gladiators are going to be feeling good about this one right now. I mean, they are playing actually very, very well. They've come into this match clearly with a game plan in mind, but it wasn't easy for them. I will say that much. You know, we've got some AKA highlights that we can really talk about. And we said in the pre-show as well, at the beginning, we said this is where Dallas, if they're going to win, it's all realistically going to be on AKM popping off on both the Widowmaker, but also the Sombra. Here you can see we said he needs to prioritize those hacks onto the tanks, and he was doing that for the majority of the game. However, Gladiators, they didn't play around it very well.
Yeah, the Gladiators really felt like they were bringing the pain to the Dallas Fuel, and they were being so proactive in their decision-making. We're going to take a play there.
Oh,
Cancel the EMP.
Cancel the EMP.
But that wasn't even enough to actually get them the win. Look at that. That's an aggressive Valkyrie, or rather Transcendence out of the Gladiators, and that was the name of the game for them. They were focusing the backline so heavily that it put Dallas almost on a very reactionary, almost tilt-like, just make uncharacteristic moves.
Yeah, it was all off the back of this. Like, Gladiators play style, super proactive. Always going to be trying to make those aggressive plays happen by diving and using the ultimates aggressively. That was their game plan coming into us time and time again. And Dallas, it felt like they weren't ready for it because they were constantly sort of targeting that backline, as you said. And it's sort of when a team needs time to think and slow down a little bit and really sort of make their points that they want to make in their heads and formulate the way they want to attack. If you're going straight into them with ultimates, you're forcing them to think on the spot. And if a team's not, you know, ready for it, again, that's going to throw them completely off balance. So.
The sign game is on point here at the Blizzard Arena. Just want to note on that real quick. Let's keep it going here with game number 2 in Blizzard World. We saw one player was kind of causing problems constantly for the Dallas Fuel. How do they get back in this series, Crumbs?
Well, I think that right now the Dallas Fuel need to make sure that they're protecting Unco a lot. Unco's getting targeted very heavily by Asher and Fisher diving him, and it seems like there's a big disconnect between the Dallas Fuel and trying to snuff this out or figure it out. So we actually have a telestrator from game 1 to highlight this. So we got an insights powered by Intel to really showcase what went wrong for Dallas Fuel, and conversely, what went well for the Gladiators. And you take a look at Asher right here. This is going to be the man of the hour. He's looking for a flank, and notice that this is the overtime push, so only 40 seconds on the clock. And the main target is going to be Unco here. This has been the guy that's been getting picked on the whole way through. So let's take another look at what happens. So you see that Effect is looking for him and actually scouts Asher, but now watch the positioning. Yeah. Fissure and Bishu are just waiting, smelling it like lions. They're waiting for Asher to get into position, and this is going to be an easy combination. And check this out. Bam! They jump right in, and Seagull's not ready. Nobody's ready for this one. They don't expect it, and Unco just gets murdered right away, and it frees up the backline here to then take out AKM, and the entire offensive push from the Gladiators goes well.
Just coordinated dive coming in.
Yeah, but it's more than that as well, because, I mean, both these teams are capable of coordinating dives, but it's the fact that Gladiators are so good at picking their marks and their targets, because in the previous pushes to that, they were targeting AKM quite a lot, right? Trying to basically bring him down because he's their sort of hard carry. He's hitting a lot of heads, you know, he's getting a lot of these kills for them. And again, it feels like Dallas, they're not really ready for what they were bringing there, and the targeting onto Unco, it's a recurring theme throughout. And I mean, we've got highlights to really show this now. If we run through these Asher ones, they are excellent at really showing what we're talking about here, because it was this combined effort from Asher and Fisher. Again, this dynamic duo, these guys are working so well together, better than almost any sort of Winston Tracer combo I've seen so far in the league. Really on point, one, you know, almost one and the same in terms of what they're thinking at the time as they're playing through this series.
Exactly, and that actually resulted in Unco playing so scared. They were forcing out Transcendences just by their sheer presence. We even have one where he blows Trans without even the Sombra even gesturing for a EMP. So they were just focusing the backline so much, and it's just what you expect out of a new addition onto the Dallas Fuel. Remember, Unco is only his second game on stage with the Dallas Fuel, so why not pick on the guy that is the easiest hero to kill? On top of that, a shot caller, and on top of that, a new member.
So, and as well, I mean, that's a great point to make, because this is an entirely not Dallas's fault, right? And it was the exact same theme moving into Blizzard Wall, into map 2. They went with the exact same game plan. Gladiators wanted to focus down Uncle, wanted to focus down those back lines and exploit the fact that Uncle is a new addition, so the communication isn't going to be quite there. It's not going to be quite on point as it was before. You know, this is a team that's still trying to practice and find their footing. Remember, OGE is still not in this roster. You know, this is the last game that they won't be playing without their main tank that they picked up recently.
Let me ask you guys about the second half here. Coming up next, we're going to see Nepal will go to Route 66 for Game 4. Dallas currently 2-0 in the hole. Astra's going to be hunting for you. You know you're going to have Fissure all over you. How do you come back in this series? What is the one player to look at moving forward?
So right here, you see that there's 24 out of 40 final blows on supports. The one guy that can save this is going to be Seagull. By playing the Diva and being able to peel back and defend your supports, you're going to be able to keep Unko alive so that he can save the transfer in a more opportunistic moment as opposed to just reacting. So Seagull is the guy to save Dallas here.
Bren, you and Dallas here for the early prediction. Do you see them coming back and forcing a Game 5?
I gotta say, it's looking rough. I mean, the maps that we're looking at here, we're on Nepal, we're going to Route 66 as well. It's plausible, but I am gonna be flipping and flopping and moving over to the side of the purple guys behind me. LA Gladiators is the team that I think are gonna be taking this one now. Still though, Dallas, they have a chance. I'm not gonna be counting them out quite yet, but I would say it's heavily in Gladiators.
Just commit
Keep
to
your
one
eyes on
side.
Effect, guys. Effect has been on fire so far today. He just needs a little bit more help. That's going to do it for our halftime coverage. Before we go to break, though, we want to remind you guys at home to check out the all-new All Access Pass on Twitch. It's live right now, and better than that, it is free throughout the rest of Stage 3. We're going to be right back. Game 3, Nepal, coming up next when we return.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The LA Gladiators have jumped out to a 2-0 lead over the Dallas Fuel. And this is another match where I feel like the score doesn't quite reflect how close the match has been. Both of these teams have been scrapping. And personal highlight for me would be Siegel's Diva Bomb at the end of that last map. Because let me tell you, it was a cathartic moment for me. I can't tell you how many times I've been playing Overwatch, and I've had a situation where we're losing a team fight. The Diva player throws out a Diva Bomb, and we end up winning. Kind of like the Hail Mary of Overwatch, if I had to call it anything. But anyways, guys, we still have a whole nother half of action to get into. So I'm going to go ahead and tag in our casters, Similar and Hex.
All right, we got rid of it. Just in time. That's right. No, wrong hand. Damn it. All right, we'll get there, man. We'll get there. It's the eternal struggle, Hex.
You're so rusty. I mean, they put you in this beautiful Cuban Pete shirt. You haven't even done the mariachi dance for me.
You know, I just came straight off the cruise ship, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even waste. This is our first time casting, Hex.
Similar as a jazz singer for Carnival during the break.
Came straight in, hot off Miami, flew in with Florida Mayhem, you know?
All right, so we're going to go to Nepal. And the question was raised by the desk of how do you stop this dive from Tracer and Winston? That's a really good question. I don't necessarily have the answer for you. I think maybe the answer is not by running two flankers, right? You got to put a DPS back there, and hopefully that works out. Maybe Unko and Harry working a little closer together, because there's a lot of teams that dive onto Zenyatta's, but Zenyatta's will live through it if they have the Mercy with them, and they're constantly getting healed and boosted as well. I mean, you see London and New York get dived all the time in the same, but they live through it.
Would you say that AKM on the McCree was like an attempt at trying to stop?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it depends on what stage we go to, too, that I actually would like to see AKM on a Soldier 76, because I think it can slow down a Winston enough on his way in that at least the rest of your team can start cleaning up a Winston. You don't want Winston to land on you at full health. You're not going to be able to deal with that, but if you can chip him down before he drops a bubble on you, and then the burst damage that will kill a Tracer, too, is a good Helix rocket. Look, it's what everyone knows AKM on, right? He is one of the best Soldier 76s in all of Overwatch. We'll see. I think maybe if we go to Shrine, that's more of a possibility than it is if for a Sanctum or even a Village in that situation as well. So we are going to go to the Sanctum, which means we're going to see some rats.
We're going to see some rats. We're going to see some halts into the murder chasm. We're going to see some boops potentially. We could even have some Pharaohs in play. We've seen it all on this point, a whole variety of strategies coming out for it. So I'm always happy to start it off on this one with Nepal, and it will be Dallas Fuel trying to dig themselves out of a pretty deep hole here. They trail 0-2, Gladiators in the lead, Asher on the Widow, and Effect on the Widow. And well, actually, right off the bat, well, it isn't such a shock, although Bishu will be on the Diva.
Okay, so
there you go.
Yeah, a little bit different there. There's definitely still a Widow map like every map in Overwatch is right now. Effect takes down Silkler, but it'll be instantly resin, but Effect is angry. Fisher is on a hero with a really big head.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Effect is continuously just pounding him. That's gonna force him back. Point becomes active as well in the nick of time. Silk Thread did find Siegel, but that's not going to be enough, and it will be Dallas Fuel picking up the point to start. Now if I can just focus on holding these angles, he's nearly got wall hacks as well.
I wonder if we're going to see, so on this point particularly, you'll see both these teams run, or almost every team, run a variation of this composition on first push. And then if you don't get control of the point, what do you do then? Some teams will continue to stay on this composition if they're nearing ultimates to throw them all at it and then come back. But at some point, most teams will transition into dive because it's the best way to deal with Orisa.
Not able. Harry Hook even with the Infrasight, not going to be able to pull it together. Fisher will find Mickey as well, and they are going to be under pressure here. Siegel trying to turn it around with the tire. He's going to find the perfect target. No, decides to go for Big Goose instead.
That's a way better target than taking down the Zenyatta because there's no resurrections available. Siegel continues his reign of terror, takes down Jazz. This one is back and forth in a brawl. And Los Angeles Gladiators will take control of the point without having to switch compositions. Just nice initiation, good engagement, and getting that opening pick from Asher. Always huge.
That was big. Asher with the headshots, man, just really making it happen.
And now the question becomes, how long does Dallas stay on this composition? It's a good composition when you're in control, which is why we've seen a lot of interesting stuff here, especially on control points lately, is teams have their mid-fight comp, and then they have the we need to take control again composition against an established team on the point.
Now Shan's looking for those volleys right now, looking for those shots. He does have his trance, and so if he sees it, he could go AKM. However, will eventually get whittled down by Asher, but Effect will remove a tank as well. Harry Hook able to get the res off, both reses in fact, going into play, and now a tire all over the place. His tires left and right.
So Fred, he's got it around the edge. They might not even need it. That's a little bit of an overkill there on Effect. You've already been bullied into the corner. This will be back and forth yet again as Los Angeles will retake.
Ooh, I like that. Not every day you get to see that angle all the way back into spawn. That would be so dirty.
Yeah, it feels bad when you just walk out of spawn and just boop, bye. All right, pushing into this, they are going to have a Valkyrie and the Transcendence too here. You imagine that you open with the Valkyrie to get onto the point, but against a Widow, it can be very difficult to find the right angle to open with that Valk. You open to the Valk and you almost don't even want to fly with it. You just sit on the ground, and then you Transcend on the point.
You hold the angles. Unko, he's got the trance to try and ferry his team onto this point. That's one way to deal with the Widow, but the counter trance comes out here from Shaz. Headshot still ringing out. Bishu will get melted immediately, but he has a self-destruct for a new mech, and he will be able to get that off. And in the meantime, we will have Seagull chucking in a Reptire yet again, hunting for the targets. Nearly the volley, and Asher is there to save it. Finds the pick. Will they be able to hold, however, here the Gladiators? They are finding these kills. They've still got that hard defensive point locked in place on the point itself with Fisher just chucking down barriers. Although, as I say that, he gets melted. The bongos in play for Mickey.
That's why it just gets scrappy all over the point, but there comes a barrage of white into the kill feed as they're able to take down 3 in short order. Resurrection does actually come up onto Fisher to make sure that they stay that, and now Dallas desperate to get onto this point. Will take down 1, but it's not gonna be enough. Seagull's all alone.
Yeah, Seagull all alone. It's not gonna be good enough here. It will be a 1-0 lead here for the Gladiators. 1 point away from clinching the series versus the Dallas Fuel.
I swear that between stage 2 and stage 3, every team boot camped at Michelin or something, because these tires have just been non-issues lately. So many tires are getting kill. Teams have been so good at playing around them. Of course, having Widow all over the place in every single map always helps kill a tire. You know, it's 1 shot on, it's 50 HP, able to take that one down. But the Gladiators now on the verge of winning the series if they can take the stage, and we are headed towards the village of Nepal.
The village, so we will have that high ground potential. We could also have, and this is pretty cool, we could actually have some Reapers as well. We do see Reaper get used on this point in particular.
Yeah.
Close quarters on the point, not a whole lot of places to hide, and with the shooty shotguns, he can melt people immediately.
It'll never not make me laugh, shooty shotguns.
Dude, he will definitely.
We got tank heavy too, and a Mei from Seagull. It's one of his better heroes actually. He's a jack of all trades, but he's actually very, very good on the Mei. So a little bit of a different strategy here. They're gonna add in another tank for the Gladiators and a half a tank for Dallas and Mei.
AKM getting topped up immediately, doesn't matter if you're hitting hooks, self-thread. AKM a difficult target to kill. Seagull hanging in there as well. The wall goes down, and now Fisher, this is perfect. You couldn't have asked for a better wall. Both tanks gonna get killed immediately.
Yeah, he gets a second shot at it. His first wall was absolutely abysmal. It allowed everyone to escape. That one is gonna lock off his team too. Just a couple feet off here and there. He actually would have liked to lock people into that doorway with him, but they should be able to get this clean up, but here comes a Coalescence.
Coalescence right through, trying to lead the way here. Lots of healing, and there we go. The Death Blossom, but Asher not able to find any kills from that whatsoever. Seagull with the ice block stays alive. And Dallas Fuel still in this fight.
And Mei has such an amazing ultimate as well. If anyone wants to even get near that point, lock the door, throw a blizzard onto the point, ice block, and just wait for them all to die. This is a good response from the Gladiators though, and this is what Silk Threat offers you. He can play a lot of different heroes, one of them being Pharah.
Take to the skies, not really the answer here from Dallas Fuel to deal with that, so we'll see how effective he can be.
He's gonna have to play Helicopter Pharah, because all of his healing is ground-based. He's gonna have to go up and down, up over the top. I'm surprised he's not taking the other angle.
Yet again, Fisher getting cut off from his teammates. Asher point blank will find the headshot artifact, but the damage has already been dealt as Asher is gonna have to try and work his way in. Instantly having to Wraith out, no Death Blossom yet for him, and Bishu kind of hanging on the edge. Could get the kill on AKM, eventually does whittle him down.
That's a great nothing matrix. It's a great matrix to prevent the hook. Here comes that blizzard on the point and self-destruct. The Seagulls can use it more as a zoning method than anything. They're going to keep getting percentages, but now it does seem like Los Angeles has finally tilted it in their favor as the tanks who got picked off to begin this fight come back onto the point.
Now it's off. That's awkward for effect.
It's just buying time.
What can you do?
I just love that Reaper and Mei are being played at the same time because if the proposed patch changes come through, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Reaper and Mei.
Forward thinkers, Hex.
Yeah, you got to try them out before they get in the game. You'll be used to it.
I'm thinking that Fisher's pretty happy right now with how things have gone, though. In terms of they've actually won a fight. He didn't get split. Oh, he gets booped up into the air.
He was
not going to go body slamming anybody that time.
He was going for the charge for the Shatter. Shatter does end up falling on a couple of people, affecting AKM out of this fight immediately. No way does Dallas take this one now.
Done so, even with the hole, and now on a 10-player kill streak. Asher feeling pretty good about that, getting in position now to go for the Death Blossom as well if he wants.
That's how useful E is. He uses it, then just gets off the roof anyway. He just wants you to know that E still is an ability.
It's just not one that we really get to see too often,
No.
because usually it leads to your death.
Just unbind it.
Effect has got Blossom as well, though. So, and we are fairly even here. There it is. Asher, he did find his angle, gets yanked right in. The trance will cancel him out, however. He does get hooked, but that's not exactly the target you were looking for there, AKM. Point blank with the shotguns, and Siegel is gone. Staying on the wall.
Siegel and Effect out of this fight, and we're nearing the breaking point where Dallas has to win the next fight, or they will lose the stage, map, and series all in one. And Effect is going to make some changes here, full wholesale changes. So Dallas resetting their ultimate economy across the board, except for Sound Barrier, which is a great initiation. They're gonna take to the skies. Now they've got an Effect on Tracer as well. They have to try something different here.
Go backing him up, getting that damage boost in. We'll see if he can connect with a rocket point blank. That would be feeling pretty good for himself if he could. And he does give that verticality for Unko a way out if necessary. Fisher kind of wondering which way he has to face with his shield as they are starting to wrap onto this point in two groups. AKM and Unko, the hammer, the anvil on the other side, and already AKM rocket after rocket just pummeling the Gladiators. Gladiators forced to give ground.
There's a beautiful coordination with that Sound Barrier too. AKM was on the other side of it and still was able to drop down in time to make sure that he got the barrier from his team. They will win the fight that they had to win to keep their hopes alive here.
That's where you need a replay of the mini map or the macro map or the big map or whatever. It's so clear on the map to see just how that all worked out there for Dallas.
Overhead view, and now they're in a great position. When you have a Far and a Mercy and you're in control of the point, you get to do this for free. And he's gonna have Barrage ready. However, on the other side of things, the Gladiators have not used ults in quite a bit.
They've still got the Coalescence if they want it. Pulse not gonna find anybody. AKM, however, raining down Death and Destruction, finds the one, Big Goose gone. Nearly picks up Fisher as well, but that might be enough here for Dallas Fuel to win this without the main tank. They don't have a shield to hide behind, although never mind, he is back into this fight. Never mind, it was the Lucio that got picked.
Siegel's out of this fight, which means they're gonna have a tough time of even stalling out. Mickey will fall soon after. It's just Harry who's able to touch the point to and fro. We're in overtime.
The fight continues. Fisher just happy to swing that hammer in people's faces, back and forth as far as the kills are concerned. Harry Hook has to be worried, though, getting pinned against the wall. Will survive just a little while longer, although Bishu will run him over, literally. And it will be Los Angeles Gladiators now with the edge of the fight. The self-destruct is there, but we, of course, have the barrier, and that will be enough. Los Angeles Gladiators will take the series 3-0 versus the Dallas Fuel.
We'll have one more map to go. What a nice kind of second round here for Silk Thread. We've seen him play a little bit too, but he played a lot of different heroes today. Showed that he doesn't have any holes in his game. So what I was concerned about with the Gladiators coming in, it's like they're telegraphing. When Shortcore comes in, they're going to play Somber. When Silk Thread comes in, they're going to play Genji. Turned out not to be the case. Everyone plays everything for this team, and the versatility of the Gladiators carries them through the day yet again over Dallas.
Center point, get center point, center point, get center point, center point. Wait this. Jump through the window. Hook behind, hook behind. Nice. Chuck dark. Kill Chuck dark. I'm tired. That's right. Only healers.
Nice.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
back from the break, everybody. It's a 3-0 win for the Gladiators. We still will play the 4th map just for the playoffs and for the overall map score. It is important. We see it every playoffs. It comes down to the wire sometimes. And so, Dallas Fuel, this map matters.
Yeah, play for pride as well. No one likes to get shut out. No one likes to get swept, squadooshed,
Least Effect.
Zeroed. No, I don't
Effect.
think.
If ever you were going to wake up, Matt, what happened to Angry Effect?
I love Effect. Yeah. I empathize with people who are just angry constantly. I get it.
Yeah, he is that guy. There's holes in the walls.
I get it. On this map, they are going to bring in Shore4, who is going to very likely be playing Widow for them. He will sub in for Silk Thread, who had himself a very nice set today in the Los Angeles Gladiators victory. But like many maps, especially escort maps, this is a Tracer Widow map. You need a Tracer player and a Widow player to run ideal compositions. We saw Houston struggle a little bit with that yesterday. They don't necessarily have the team to run a Tracer and a Widow at the same time. Gladiators do. They run it in a very interesting way sometimes. Again, like I said on Volskaya, Short4 doesn't really get help when he plays Widow. He plays alone, and they let everyone else protect everyone else, and they just rely on him to either hit the shot or get out of there.
Yeah, be a distraction that allows for Fisher to get in there with the help of Asher. They just go crashing in constantly. Well, I mean, Unko still trying to figure it out. It almost feels like whichever Zen they have in there, whether it's Trip Saiyan or whether it's Unko, that's just like a dead Zen. It's not a really pleasant position right now for Dallas Fuel. They're still trying to figure out how to protect the back line.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, I just wonder if it's Harry off healing someone else who's taken too much damage, so he's not able to protect his Zenyatta in the ways that other Mercies have been able to keep their own Zen alive. Is Unko not hitting the shots he needs to protect himself long enough to let his Mercy get there? I mean, I haven't been able to have the camera on it enough. All right, so AKM is going to be running on the Sombra here, it does appear. So this is exactly what they ran even when Rascal was on the team. They started off with a Sombra defense and then transitioned into a Soldier 76. Just so happens, AKM also could run a Sombra and a Soldier 76, so not a whole lot should change here. Not going to see a big variation as well. It's just going to be a matter of where Dallas wants to set up. And, you know, it's a little bit surprising they're not going to try to Widow into this, but yeah.
That's
teach
the thing.
their own.
AKM is just like, nah, don't want to have anything to do with the Widow right now.
I mean, stage one was definitely, if you don't have a Tracer, go home, all right? And then teams have now all found Tracers. And now it's like, if you don't have a Widow, good luck. I mean, you can still win, but good luck. It's a lot easier if you have one. We'll see if the Sombra works out, though. And Los Angeles might actually play around this, too, and maybe put Short4 on a McCree, which is much more anti-Sombra than a Widow is. But no, this is the Gladiators rollout. And now they're being, you know, they're just going to push in and try to find the right angles here.
Yeah, AKM is already on the back line right now, so they will know definitely. Short4 gets chopped down to about half HP before AKM translocates out. And there we go. Fisher going for the poke on the high ground. Nothing too crazy yet, just creating the space here for Short4 to start looking for those shots. He spots him, gives him a bit of a trim there. Unko getting the heel shot out from under him. This is throwing things somewhat into disarray here for Dallas Fuel, although Siegel really trying to stay focused on Short4 will eventually get demeched.
Well, they've taken out both supports on the other side, on the back lines there. They both did fall. A nice play from AKM was able to take down Shaz, so now the reset here. Short4 will barely get out with his life. Some late kills coming in, but it is time to reset now. They still are chasing a little bit. Effect is mad. He is in there, and Effect is now a puddle on the ground.
That was an interesting play.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Going for the pulse as well, so no pulse for this next fight here. Effect, though, on Tracer will be able to get back into the fight fairly quickly. Still, you can see how his team have already changed it up. There we go. That's a big play from Unko. The headshot on Short4, bringing it back to a 5-on-5, and the kill on Asher as well. Dallas Fuel pulling through here for another sturdy defense.
See, that's why I was curious how Unko's dying, because I've seen this man play, and he's got very good mechanics on his Zenyatta. He hits headshots, he knows where people are coming from, so maybe it's just about working with the new team. We do have to emphasize that, though. I mean, Unko is on a new team. He knows AKM, old former Rogue teammates for a very long time, but he has to work with everybody else that he hasn't worked with before.
Let's figure it out. He does call quite a bit as well, it seems. Very vocal player, Unko. And well, there we go. The stick coming in from Asher. The double. There's the money play. Asher, he just earned his paycheck. This might actually create the opening they need here for the Gladiators.
Turning Mercy into the angel of death there. She flies in with a delivery service. They are able to take that down off a single pulse bomb right there. Dallas should have time to get back in if they should want to. AKM is nearing an EMP. Just a matter of if they have the follow-up, but Los Angeles is so aggressive that they're going to try to choke out these doorways.
No, Asher really just pressuring Mickey. Mickey is going to be able to jump back in there. He's got Seagull there as well to follow suit. And so the tanks will go launching their way onto that payload. Fisher getting forced down, has to use the primal, but he has managed to push some of these supports apart. So that will make life a little bit more difficult here. Really trying to stay on top of it. Harry Hawk finally goes down, and Fisher with a mid-air primal punch to the face. That will certainly have an impact.
Watching mechanically good Winston players is crazy, and you really see the mechanics shine during that primal rage. It's trying to like wield something like a car with a flat tire. It's unwieldy, and they're able to pull it off. It's still very back and forth. Dallas in here has the bodies, but it seems like the Gladiators want to be aggressive. Shortford trying to kneecap the Diva, gets it through.
And Effect right now is so frustrated. Shaz manages to get it going. Oh, AKM just barely around the corner. There's a hungry play here for sure. For really trying to go for it, but not quite going to find the target out in the open. Although, as I say that, Unko has to be careful.
I mean, you are really seeing the good and bad of Effect being an emotional player, right? He's making some of these decisions thinking that I have to do this by myself, and that's not necessarily a good thing. He's capable of it, but there it is. The Gladiators continue to push through. Harry Hook and Unko die again.
Don't forget that you have a payload to push Gladiators. They do get Fisher and Bishu back there.
It's really not as fun as killing people.
It's true. I mean, just ask the old Lucios.
That's right.
It's 5v5, and then you had a Lucio there to just push the cart. Yeah, just set up, man. It's all good. We don't really need you after all.
So we'll see how Dallas tries to stabilize on this defense. Unko has done enough damage that he's going to have a Transcendence available as well. Getting in with everybody, and that's been a difficult proposition for Dallas in the last several minutes. Harry Hook and Mickey die. Can't take this fight, can't use ultimates. Effect is D-Max Bishu, but that's it. This is looking very one-sided.
Asher right now is just pumping out the hurt. Effect trying to keep up. So far, it has been looking better for Gladiators, who are just farming up ults as well. And so this next fight is still going to be a bit of a stretch here for the Dallas Fuel to try and stop him from getting in there. Asher with the one clip on Effect wins that duel hands down. There's a volley waiting around the corner, but Unko, what? Goes for the trance out in the open, really wanting to try and contest here.
It's their best chance to contest second even after losing one. They need to get in here and try to get something going. If they lose one more person, this one's gonna walk to second for absolutely free. They did lose AKM. They're just not finding any kills. It seems like the target focus is lacking for Dallas.
Oh man, Fisher is relentless right now. Unko, what do? You get splattered. And well, Gladiators, even with the ults getting thrown into the fight there by Dallas Fuel, Gladiators, they use quite a few ults themselves, but they will get that second point. 3 minutes left here to push it to the final third point here on this map.
AKM does have EMP, and we'll see if he stays on Sombra after this. A lot of teams have switched away from Sombra on final point, opting for either Soldier 76s or McCree's in these instances. And I imagine Short 4 after this life on Widow will also be changing to a McCree.
Take advantage of the long sight lines. Widow is capable, but then you get the flashes for the close quarter play. Asher, once again, he's just murderous right now on a rampage. Fisher as well. Between the two of them, doing so much work for Los Angeles Gladiators.
Yeah, for Short 4 switching does rely on him dying at some point in time, and Dallas has been unable to oblige a large portion of the Los Angeles Gladiators in the entire game. I think they need to start focusing Fisher again. That's when they had their most success, is when they were focusing down tanks. Maybe AKM can get in there, they can just find a way to stop this team, but there's the EMP finally.
Yeah, finally the EMP in play there from AKM, trying to open it up, but they will manage to survive a little while longer here, Los Angeles Gladiators. We will have Effect finding Shaz. The trance is out of it now, and Sherfor on a 14-player kill streak, finally ended by Mickey. Minute 45 on the clock, and Dallas Fuel here at the very bitter end are able to hold on.
An enormous stabilization that they absolutely needed there. Short 4. All right, for the moment, staying on this Widow. Now, this is okay because they push the cart to such a distance that the fighting will take place near the cart, and Short 4 can chill in back largely untouched. It's just a matter of can he find the right angles here. There is plenty of high ground on Route 66 to get a good offensive Widow position, and he's nearing another ultimate.
Yeah, he is on top of it right now. Soon you'll be able to see through walls here, the entire team. Sound barrier is ineffective, misses it though. Frustrating for him, he will, oh, he still gets that stack. Bet Goose, gone.
That's huge because Big Goose had Valkyrie up. I think they wanted to stagger that and use Valkyrie right after Transcendence. They are going to get a couple of kills of their own. No progress being made on the card. It's being contested right now as the Widow battle commences. Meanwhile, Fisher slamming some people in the back line.
Yeah, Fisher just doing Fisher things. He's getting pocketed by his Big Goose as well, so he will be brought back alive immediately. And while Surefour's still hanging around, but decides to get that ult going, we'll be able to see through walls. Now Los Angeles Gladiators could make their lives a little bit easier. Headshot in passing. And this is where you can see it. It starts to get a little bit complicated for the Dallas Fuel to get out there and challenge the payload when you've got Surefour on the high ground, hitting headshot after headshot. There's two. Gonna miss the third. Does he get the follow-up? Yes, Baby Divas just die. He makes it look easy.
Desperation EMP coming in, but there's no one to contest Surefour. It's a checkmate position similar to Gibraltar. Effect had been dead the moment he forced out the recall. Everyone else is going to clean him up, and that will be the Los Angeles Gladiators completing Route 66 with 17 seconds to spare.
Not even in overtime. Super solid, though. Dallas Fuel, they did put up a fight, though. They never said die. They were able to hang in there.
They said die around second point.
A few times,
yeah. Then they said relive on third.
Well,
second point was brutal.
Second point, they were split in half. Yeah, they were split in half at the first.
They lost people constantly. They never had like a concerted defense. This is why I really liked, actually, that Unco just transcended. They lost one, yeah, but if they don't fight there, when are they going to fight? Are they just giving up second for free the entire time? So Unco forces, it gets his Transcend force, they decide to fight and call it, so there was something that happened there at least, but second was not good for Dallas.
This map right now for Dallas. Now we have to see if Dallas are going to be able to bring it together here for the offense, where they're going to flip. Well, now, I mean, you can have the variety come through here for AKM. Again, it seems like AKM might be focused on that Widow to kick things off. Well, that is putting quite a bit of pressure on AKM.
Just a little surprising to run a defensive Widow if you're going to run an offensive Widow. The Sombra strategy, I mean, it didn't pay off. There were times where it took them way too long to build up EMP. The EMP never really was a fight-defining or fight-winning ultimate. It often came in after a couple of kills. It was a win-more ultimate, which is never something that you really want to use. So I think they're still trying to get this Sombra into the mix. Like I said, it's not just AKM's hero pool. They tried it with Rascal as well. Didn't work out as well for them either there. But offensively, we'll see how the battle goes between Surefour and AKM. If I were a betting man, which luckily I am not, I would bet on Surefour. He's been on fire today.
He has been doing work. I think he was on a 17-elim streak when they finally killed him, and then obviously he came back to life and just completely wrecked him. Dallas Fuel now, AKM, no big deal. Just find the headshot on that Widow and make life easy for your team. That's what you need to do here. That's the name of the game. Unco going on the Hanzo to start just to get that Sonic Arrow out, and we'll be able to change it up real quick back over to the Zen. So progress being made on the payload to start. Now it's a matter of seeing when do they decide to get in here and start taking this fight. Los Angeles Gladiators, they've been on point with the counter dives.
This is exactly how the Gladiators play defense. Surefour plays alone on top of Big Earls. The tanks run on this line over here to dance around the corner. And Surefour has not been pressured. Asher has been, whoa, there's some pressure right to the brain.
Yeah, there we go. Maximum pressure. There's not much left of it. And that's exactly what AKM had to do. He had to win that duel. The res will go off, though. Big Goose allowed to make that happen, despite the fact that the Dallas Fuel tanks were there to try and get the punish, trying to use that body as bait. Surefour back into it.
Everyone's pushed very far back, though. Now the tank's doing so much work for the Fuel into the back line. Siegel and Mickey have combined for a couple of kills here. And it's really just going to be Asher trying to stall this out. And this is great for Dallas.
They've gotten the key kills. They lose their backline, sure. Surefour's allowed to live, sure. But it seems like Gladiators weren't able to really take advantage of the position. They kind of threw themselves out there a bit too much, and Dallas Fuel were able to capitalize. So now it's a matter of getting back in here quick enough to contest.
Well, Effect did a great job of keeping Asher busy for a while as well, as Asher tried to come in and contest him so that he couldn't go and mess with Surefour. Speaking of for free, they just walk into second point there. It's because LA wants to set up in a better position on second. They are exactly where they want to be. Shaz and Big Goose are together. Surefour's alone on one of the rooftops. This is exactly how the Gladiators like to play. Fisher and Asher are going to be dancing around until they find a weak target.
Asher, man, he's on the hunt for Effect right there.
He should be running away. Yeah, he's going to hunt down some health and then get back into it.
He gets the Zen Orb as well. A few seconds of advantage there. Surefour wins the duel versus AKM. Harryuk will be able to bring AKM back into it, though, but Mickey decides to Primal, once again, kind of separated from his team. We'll be able to get back over here, and he's just staying so focused right now on Big Goose, but Big Goose doesn't seem to care.
He has not gone too far. The healing will come in, and they're going to actually bring Asher back to life. Big Goose falls as he took to the skies too quickly. This one's a bit of a brawl, but brawling on the point, always good for the defense.
This is exactly what Dallas Fuel are kind of trying to work their way around right now. I mean, this has been the Gladiators' calling card so far in this series. Fisher, Bishu, Asher leading the charge, taking the fight to him, and the rest of the team follows.
They have to back up a little bit, though. They need to back up into Big Goose so they can get buried over here, and Valkyrie. Valkyrie right into short four as he gets jumped by Mickey. We'll keep him alive. Harry Hook, Unko down, fight over. Fight over.
Mickey just kind of contemplating the scene there up on the rooftop. Not a whole lot he can hope to do. Seagull gets another meter out of progress out of the payload before he dies. So there is that there for Dallas. Now AKM, can you pull a fast one on Surefour? It's probably not going to happen because Surefour, he's going to wait a little bit and then he's got wall hacks if he wants them.
AKM's already popped his visor as well, so actually that's incorrect right there. Short, we're looking for it. Bye.
Doesn't even need to use the ult and see through walls.
Now he will, just for funsies.
Oh, sick. Oh, the headshot on Harry as well. Harry's so low, desperate.
Unable to get that kill finished off, but it does push Dallas all the way back. They have plenty of time, though, but this is not where you want to be fighting in second point.
Especially when Asher's got the pulse. You're going through that close choke point. Asher could just go ahead and lob a grenade in there for you.
Asher's been so patient, though, on when to use these pulse bombs and to find the right target. The reason he didn't go in there is he saw Defense Matrix was still up. He would like to have it absolutely guaranteed that if he sticks it, it's actually going to do something. So just patient again. They're spread out again. They watch every door. They know exactly where the rest of their team is. That is a huge kill, but Chaz brought back to life. But AKM capitalizes.
AKM goes unchallenged in a bit of an off angle there, able to find the follow-up. Surefour will eventually remove AKM. So you have Unko, you have the trances that have been used now by both Zenyatas. Bishu still setting up shop on that payload though, and so Dallas not making any progress.
Asher's taking out Unko. Does chase off the Mercy as well.
Oh boy, that was just a pulse in there, but whatever, the damage was already done at that point.
Harry popped Valkyrie during all of this engagement. They got almost zero value out of it. I guess being alive is of some value. Big Goose is going to have his own Valkyrie up here. 2 minutes and the cart just now under the bridge. About 2 more holds for Gladiators and they will lock out this map and sweep the set. Now AKM's the one who's got his infra sight up.
Yeah, that was nice timing as well. Gonna burn more time off this clock.
Because they can't come in through doorway anyway, and now you know exactly where they're gonna come from. Effect, he will have Pulse Bomb.
There we go, delayed infrared coming in for Surefour. Stuck, not quite gonna get it. And the heals are excellent. Fisher finally dies. Effect has to get it done with the pistols. And there's the follow-up. Big Goose gone as he tries to get the res off. Big plays coming through here for Effect, the man in question. We were talking about him at the beginning of the game, and now he's decided it's time to deliver. 2 kills and make it 3.
That Shaz will probably fall as well, but Shaz a good dueler in his own right. Effect makes him look silly. Take it down, and Effect on a 10-player kill streak. They will grab second point. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and a little bit of change left on their clock here. They must finish out the map.
They have to finish, exactly. We've got 3 points on the board for Gladiators. Well, Effect trying to find that angle. Pulse is ready for him, though. Decides to back off here and wait for the rest of his team to join up, as Unko is currently getting challenged a little bit by Asher in the back line, exactly. A little worried there for a second.
Just keep his volley loaded. Might as well just toss it down the range if you don't see a Tracer coming. Doing a good job keeping eyes on all sides of his head.
Come on, you gotta get that! Surefour somehow lives, but that sets it up for Big Goose, who has to come back here to try and heal Surefour. Both of them dead yet again to start this fight. Chaz blocked off from the rest of his team as well. That's not pretty. Effect right now, really getting work done here for Dallas.
This has just been Big Goose having to make Sophie's choice after Sophie's choice. They always put him in a very awkward position, and Effect has been there with the tracking to take him down. Big Goose, do you stick around and keep him up? Is there someone else you need to go to get? And he's been up in the air a lot of times. Look, and this is one of the problems why the Gladiators weren't all that good in stage 1. Big Goose's mercy is questionable at times. His decision to fly to certain targets is questionable at times. He's much more comfortable on the Lucio.
And Unko once again, no, perfect, right in the angle. In fact, Unko and Mickey to follow.
Bishu's had somewhat of a quiet day with a beautiful self-destruct. Is going to give the Gladiators some breathing room finally.
A chance to reset here as a minute is left on this clock for Dallas Fuel, who once again, they need all 3. ults as well. They got a little bit of ground to cover here. Sure4 with the headshot on AKM. Harry Hook will get the res, but that's the res used now going into the rest of this fight. And Asher again, right here in the back line. Where he was before, now he's looking for it. They're gonna be gathered up. He goes for the blink, could go for the stick, doesn't even need to. Still holding on to it, AKM caught. And once again, you have that engage coming in here from Los Angeles Gladiators, the tanks and Asher working together. It's perfect.
Might even get this late kill too. Asher decides not to force the issue. He's gonna back up with his team. Yeah, Stagger wouldn't have been that bad there. They will eventually get Mickey as Fisher's still out hunting.
And Mickey with the primal as well. Mickey can get back into this fight very quickly as well, but now we're down sub 20 seconds. We got 15 left on the clock here for Dallas Fuel. Sure4's changed it up. He's on the McCree now as well. Effect has been spotted by Asher, who is still patiently holding on to that pulse.
AKM's also squished over to the Somber. No Widow left on the field. They're getting a lot of free push onto the Cartiers. Mickey and Siegel walk this one in.
And they need to actually decide to have a body there to contest, and now Los Angeles Gladiators, they're waiting for it. Asher, spotted by AKM. Shouldn't be too concerned by that, though. We will have the bubble getting thrown into it, and now Fisher decides to go primal. That's going to force the trance out. And so Dallas Fuel have a lot of healing here on this point. Fisher is hacked. He's not going to care. He's right in the thick of things, but there's Effect. Big stick onto Fisher.
Fisher just a ground beef target there, unable to jump up once he is hacked. A big self-destruct over the top, going to close down Asher. And right now, Dallas is so close. We need a couple of kills. Shaz will oblige and get one, but I don't know if it's enough for the Gladiators, and that's the last hero you want as a stall hero.
Yeah, not a whole lot that he could do there, Sure4. Had the Deadeye, but that wasn't enough. And we will actually have Dallas Fuel collecting the 3 points. Not a whole lot of time. You can see Unko there with a bit of the head shake. That was a difficult push, a difficult offensive side there for Dallas, but they did manage to get the goods in the end.
Hard to tell the mood of Dallas right now. Those are guys that don't necessarily wear their hearts on the sleeves. At the other end, we could probably, divine some sort of thing. Siegel looks focused.
They're not looking too happy right now.
Where's the Siegel scream? I didn't hear it.
There it is.
Enjoy it. Effect looks locked in, looks focused there. Not too much of a difference on the time banks here. 1 minute to 1:17. Both teams have showed exactly what they like to run on offense and defense. It will be defense for the Los Angeles Gladiators first, which means very likely that Sure4 will sit alone on top of Big Earls. The crowd goes mild for Siegel's Torbjorn. Very likely not going to happen.
Yeah, but he's got the turret for like the first second, right? Maybe it's going to take a shot, spot something out, throw him off.
Hey, if anything, I want to see Siegel run the Bastion.
Yes. Or the Hanzo.
Yeah, well, the Hanzo's just to check the cart here, though. But
no, don't. Stop spoiling the eggs.
A Bastion on this map is very possible, not probable, but plausible.
We need Dallas to get back to the roots here. Yeah, he's not going to do it. Sadly, it is going to be the Diva in play.
All right, Sure4 all alone, sitting all the way back, actually on the ground now, so he's not a dive target. AKM will offensively run this Sombra. Not really enough time to really bank on getting an EMP up. It does charge fast. It's really going to matter how much damage AKM can put out here. That's why he's looking for those tanks. His hack gets interrupted, though.
Yeah, nice defense there from Los Angeles Gladiators, denying the hack. That could have really thrown things out of whack if Bishu had got silenced at the beginning of that fight. Instead, they will continue to hold here for Los Angeles Gladiators. It took Dallas Fuel quite a bit of time the first time around here. Only 20 seconds left.
They gotta be careful. Oh, two down, and the Gladiators will probably look to punish this and finish whoever's on the ground. Hope to get some staggers in here. And now with 9 seconds left, it is desperation. Siegel dies on top of Big Earls.
Harry Hook is there as well. AKM hanging out. He's only at 50% on the EMP, so no ult in play, and that's not gonna matter because he's dead now. Overtime Wick burning down. And Dallas Fuel, they can't get back into touch. Effect sacrifices himself, just trying to keep the fight alive, but Mickey not gonna be able to make it out. Instead, blast off into the stratosphere.
Mickey's trying to go home to the moon there. That is where the payload will end on Dallas's second push. I don't know if I agree with the Sombra there. Well, let's just take a look at what Sure4 did to Effect.
Yeah.
Not the first time that has happened in this matchup today.
That's clean. That's patient. The Hunter is doing his thing. As we do have the countdown having begun here. Minute 17 on the clock for Gladiators now, and they get their chance at a push.
So what I'm saying is with a minute, Old Sombra could definitely get EMP. right? Everyone play around pack, everyone take a little chip damage. New Sombra, maybe he gets that hack off on the D.Va and that defense matrix goes down and you get to farm up some damage and maybe get EMP there. I just don't think that that's the pick going into a map in which you only have 1 minute to push and make the most progress. Isn't it more impactful to run your own Widow and maybe get a pick immediately, then you can take that fight? I mean, not to second guess. Of course, these guys have their own strategies and this is what they play and know. It's just questionable when you, that's why you used to run Sombra for the EMP. I'm just curious what she does in this. She is kind of now that people think she might be a pick kind of hero, an assassin that you focus one target, you get them all down because you hack them. But if that hack doesn't come off, what is she?
So what we saw from AKM there, unfortunately, wasn't able to really bring anything into that fight. Surefour not going to go for the Widow. Will have the McCree to start here, interestingly enough.
Well, this is because they very likely know that Dallas is going to run a Sombra. That they just ran it. Dallas has not run anything except a Sombra so far, so that's why you see Bijou actually just trying to find an invisible Sombra there. That's why he's just pumping rounds in there, hoping to decloak a Sombra.
They're going for the spam. A little bit of the touch and play there from Seagull, waiting for the Discord Orb to wear off. It does eventually do that. And well, there you go. Surefour already just looking to melt him. Shot after shot, ranging out. They're going to try and dive him, and specifically will not be able to quite find that kill, though. Surefour, he's still hanging in here. Under pressure, but he's got the flashbang.
Well, they do trade out a little bit, though. Both tanks now down. They're going to resurrect Fissure, though, to get into this mix. Dallas forced to play very close to the corner. Huge flashbang headshot from Seagull. Or Surefour, rather. And not a headshot, sorry.
He gets the shot. He gets the kill. That's all that matters, and they are right on top of it now. Los Angeles Gladiators, if they can keep getting this whittle going, Unko has to go for the trance just to keep his team alive. It's a 4-on-4 situation, and Surefour dancing right on the edge, making good use of that barrier. Mickey gets laid low, but Effect is there to trade it, and Dallas Fuel, they still have a presence on this point. Bijou alone, and there's the EMP that can make all the difference.
And I believe it will. It's only Fissure. He gets knocked off the ledge. Dallas trying to put a 1 in that 0 column.
Can they make it actually happen here? Yes, it is. There is Surefour coming back into it. Big Goose is here to tap as well. Shaz going for the full zoom Yata, getting the trance. But this is all just buying time here. Bijou is still so far away, and everybody is here from Dallas Fuel, waiting with open arms. One after another, they will fall. Los Angeles Gladiators, not this time. It will be the Dallas Fuel picking up a map win.
You see the difference of getting that EMP or not getting the EMP, the decisive cleanup there when things get scrappy and close. To be able to knock your enemy back into the Stone Age, always a huge advantage there. And it's just, you have to wonder maybe on the offense if that hack comes through, but all for naught now as Dallas will put a 1 on the board and win Route 66. A small victory. Not a moral victory, though. I don't think they feel good after that set.
They don't feel good after that set because Los Angeles Gladiators will walk away with the set win. With a strong start here on stage 3 for the Gladiators. They're going to be feeling good about that. Dallas Fuel, once again, back to the drawing board. They got that feel-good win versus Shanghai, but this is the one that they really needed to pick up here, Dallas, to start turning things around early.
Yeah, and after Gladiators just barely missed the stage 2 playoffs, they're looking to come in strong. They want playoff potential going towards stage 3, and they've opened up great. The last couple of days here look good. They've added even more firepower with Silk Thread as well.
Yeah, Silk Thread, he had a fantastic series here today. We're going to be taking a break, and then we'll hear what the halftime desk, well, the desk rather, they are calling it the halftime, but the desk had to say after that.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Zoe and the Gladiators are kicking things off in stage 3 with a 1-1 score. Does this result reflect the expectations the Gladiators had for week 1?
I think so. Coming into the week, we had very little practice time with me, only 2 or 3 days. So we didn't have super high expectations coming in, but I feel we did really well. The second match, we improved a lot. We got our team chemistry back together. And, you know, I played Sombra, and I only had like 1 day to practice Sombra. So I'm pretty happy with the results that turned out, and I'm motivated more than now than ever to keep playing and keep improving with the team.
All right. Now, Silk Thread, only 3 days ago, the Gladiators announced you to be the newest addition to their team. So you traded your wings for a shield. What's the experience been like for you to change between teams in the Overwatch League?
Honestly, the transition has been really smooth. The fans have been super supportive, which I'm super grateful of. I'm reunited with Hydration, who's one of my best friends, so I can't ask for anything more than that, honestly. And honestly, I feel like more rejuvenated, I guess, in a sense. I think that getting that fresh start for me was super important, and now I'm more motivated than ever to improve with the new team and see how far I can go, so I'm excited.
All right. Well, we're excited also, and I have to say, you look fantastic in purple. Don't you guys agree? Yeah, that's right. Now let's see what the desk has to say about the game.
Thank you so much, Zoe. And once again, give it up for Silk Thread, newest member here in LA for the Gladiators. It's kind of awesome to see him setting up with his old team behind him. But the Gladiators, they get the win today, and it's something they couldn't do in the first 2 outings against Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're going to be happy with that at least. Now they can set the sort of record straight or get on the right track to starting it at least. And I mean, they played fantastically, you know. Dallas also stepping up towards the tail end of it, but across the board, they got to be pleased.
Let's start with game number 3, Nepal. As we look back here to the control map, Crumbs, we saw some different compositions coming out of Dallas. It never looked like they were completely comfortable, but what were you seeing as this game played out?
So we started out in Sanctum, and I was really looking out for what kind of ultimate usage Dallas was going for. And I think what surprised me the most was that they were very reactive in the way that they handled their ultimates, particularly their support ultimates. And I think that actually cost them a lot. They never felt like they had enough room to create initiative with their ultimate, so it was always just waiting for the Gladiators to make the move. This is the one time, right? You see it right there. Yeah. He goes for the trance in a response to the Reaper ultimate, as opposed to many plays by the Gladiators in which they open up with a Valkyrie or a trance.
So I like as well that we're highlighting this strategy here from Dallas, where they're running the Reaper May. I mean, it's kind of a bit of a throwback, to be honest.
There's a lot of Reaper in this
day.
game.
Like, you know, what year is it? 2016, apparently. You know, we're back in the Overwatch Open, but it's a tasty little tease as to what Dallas is capable of, because Seagull used to be known for playing a lot of May, Hanzo, these specialist heroes, right? And the fact that they're bringing it out now, and it did work to begin with, then Gladiators then adapted, and they kind of broke the defense, and Dallas had to switch everything up. But it's promising because it shows that they are, you know, willing to flex a little bit and sort of move out of their comfort zones and try and take these teams off guard.
I know Reinforced must be really happy to see Reinhardt being played by Fissure there in the second stage of Nepal. Also, we saw AKM flexing over to the Roadhog. That May, as you mentioned, Dallas may have the best Mays in the business with Rascal and Seagull on the same team. Let's talk about Game 4, though, because this is where Dallas was able to walk away with 1 map win, and they had to grind it out every last second. They scored their 3rd point in overtime and then simply had the better defense. But for me, I thought this should have been a 4-0 in favor of the Gladiators.
Well, towards the very end, it felt like things were just falling apart for both teams, because we've seen Gladiators do this before. They get the 3-0, they get the win, and then immediately composure falls a little bit. So that's what they have to work on, because their coordination was really not there for this last snap. However, that did create a lot of room for Effect to just be angry again and go on a rampage alongside of Mickey. So he basically single-handedly got them this last map.
And Brang, we gotta also note that, of course, this is Mickey. Your guy who is playing Diva is now main tanking while you're waiting on your new main tank to come in. Dallas next week is gonna get OGE, another star player from South Korea. He will be joining Effect, and you have to think, is it gonna be similar to what we're seeing with Asher, really stepping up his game after adding Fissure into the mix?
I think for sure, because Effect is a player, me and Crumbs were discussing this as well as the game was going on. Effect right now, it feels like he's very much trying to make plays individually on his own, because there's a disconnect, right? They're not really wanting to practice too much, I imagine, with Mickey as the main tank, because they've got OGE coming in. He's coming into the next game they're going to be playing, so they're going to be wanting to practice with that. And I think as soon as they get a solid foundation in terms of the main tank and effect, and they know that what they have to work on in terms of communication and diving in together, that's where we're going to see radical improvements, at least in my mind.
Remember that right now, I think Effect is probably the Tracer that has the most success with the least amount of resources. Your Zenyatta is super important in these Tracer duels, and he's got a new support that he has to work with, new tanks that don't even play these roles. So the fact that he even gets kills and can carry games is already impressive.
So Dallas will be keeping our eyes on this squad moving forward. For now, though, we know it's the Gladiators walking away with the victory today. This team's been looking better and better since adding Fissure. And today, our player of the match sponsored by Omen by HP. It's a guy who's really upped his game since the addition of Fissure. Asher was popping off on the Tracer, boys.
I have been waiting for the game where we could say that Asher got the player of the match, and this is the one. The final time where it looks like Fissure has been contained a little bit more, and he has the opportunity to step up and does so wonderfully. I think this guy's quietly in the background become one of the best Tracers out there. He's actually pretty damn consistent.
Not a bad claim, honestly.
Holds his own against every other Tracer.
You could really make an argument for it, especially with the statistics that this guy has been putting out across the board, and we're going to take a peek at some of these right now. I mean, look at this. Final blows on fuel supports. Take a look at that number right there. 34 out of his 60 final blows. Over 50% of his final blows were on the supports of Dallas Fuel. Very impressive across the board. Of course, he didn't do it alone. He had Fissure to back him up, but I think it's just a testament to you cannot really be sleeping on this DPS player.
If you're playing the Gladiators next week, watch your backline, boys. Asher is coming for those supports. Gladiators walk away with the first win of the day. When we come back, though, we're going to find out, will it be LA going 2 for 2? The Valiant face off against the Shanghai Dragons when we return.
Get on the objective.